Listen to me now. Listen to me now. Listen to me now. Listen to me now. This is not just another message. This is a holy dispatch from heaven straight to your spirit. A cure has been sent. Antram earth, Nantram and Mutram me. And it's carrying the remedy your soul has been crying out for. The heaviness, the patterns of the torment, the pain, they are not your portion. What you're about to hear is not suggestion. It's sacred strategy, wrapped in prophecy, spoken by the God who sees you completely and still calls you worthy of healing. So don't you dare click away. Don't scroll past your own miracle. This word is alive. It will read your mail, confront your past, and unlock your future. Watch to the end, because the final seconds carry something I've hidden for you. This is divine appointment, not coincidence. Sit with me, listen with both ears, and expect to never be the same again. My beloved child, I've heard every cry that escaped your lips in the dark, when no one else was listening, and I want you to know, a cure has been sent from heaven for you. My beloved child, I have heard you in the hidden places, the sacred rooms of sorrow where no applause echoes, no comfort reaches, and no eyes see but mine. I watched you curl into the quiet corners of the night, trying not to make a sound, yet unable to silence the storm inside. You whispered into your pillow, not even sure your words had weight, not even sure if I still heard. But I want you to know, I did. Every quiver of your lip, every stifled sob, every breath caught between pain and prayer, I caught them all. I did not flinch. I did not turn away. I leaned in. I came closer. The cries you thought vanished into nothing were actually sent straight to the throne room. And child, I did not just hear them. I held them. I kept them in my hands like treasures. You cried from the depths, and the depths responded. The walls of heaven did not remain silent. I moved. I stirred. I summoned what you could not see because your ache was too holy to be ignored. And now, listen closely, because I want you to understand the weight of this moment. I am not just aware of your suffering. I have acted. A cure has already been sent. Not a suggestion. Not a delay. Not a possibility. A cure. From heaven. Straight from my heart to yours. It does not travel with earthly packaging. It does not come with man-made labels. This is divine dispatch, wrapped in light, carried by angels, marked by my signature. It is not generic. It is custom. Designed for you. Fashioned in the fire of your own tears, saturated with the oil of your endurance. You did not cry in vain. And you will not continue to ache in silence. I have spoken a command into the heavens, and they obey me. What I send cannot be stopped. What I release cannot be reversed. The very fact that you are reading this now is proof. The cure is near. No, child, it is here. And the healing that is unfolding will not only touch your body, it will wash over your memories, your emotions, your relationships, your regrets. Because I never heal just one part. I heal the whole. This moment, right now, is saturated with promise, and it carries my fingerprint. This is not just about your body, it's about your spirit, your emotions, your dreams. I'm bringing healing into every dimension of who you are. My beloved, when I say that I have sent a cure from heaven, understand that it is not partial. It is not limited. It does not arrive to touch one layer while neglecting another. No, this healing I've dispatched is holistic, whole, holy, and complete. I do not deal in fragments when it comes to my children. I heal thoroughly. I restore deeply. I touch the marrow, the memory, the mystery of what has wounded you. You have looked at your reflection and seen only surface symptoms. But I've seen deeper. I've seen the internal bruises that didn't leave physical marks. I've seen the tremors of trauma that pulse through your thoughts when no one is watching. I've seen the dreams you buried because disappointment spoke louder than hope. And today, I declare to you with heaven's fire, I am touching every part. Spirit, soul, body, heart, mind. Even the future that fear tried to sabotage is being rewritten by the pen of my promise. Child, you must understand, this healing is not just an event. It is an invasion, an interruption of the inferno that has tried to burn away your identity. This is the moment where the lies you've believed about yourself begin to lose their voice, where the anxiety that lived in your chest for so long begins to evacuate. I am sweeping through you like a river through dry ground, and I'm not just pouring healing, I'm pulling up the roots that poison the soil. That's why this hurts a little. That's why things feel tender. Because I'm going to the places you sealed off, the places you thought I wouldn't touch because you were too ashamed to name them. But I am not a surface savior. I go deeper. I go further. I go straight to the sorrow, the shame, the shattered expectations. And I don't come to shame them. I come to restore them. Do you hear me? I am not embarrassed by your brokenness. I am attracted to it, because my strength is made perfect there. I come not to critique your scars, but to resurrect what died beneath them. Let me speak directly to what's been aching. That moment when you lost the version of yourself that used to laugh without effort. That moment when your hands trembled, not from weakness but from carrying what was never yours to bear. That moment when your joy turned mechanical and your passion flickered into numbness. I saw them all, and I didn't turn away. I stayed. I hovered. I waited. And now I act. The healing I bring is not shallow. It's not short-lived. It is sacred. It moves through the silent parts of you, the emotional abscesses that have been left untreated by time, by people, by religion. I am not offering a bandage. I am declaring a reversal, a spiritual, emotional, prophetic reversal. Heaven's medicine is not confined to flesh. It flows through faith. It drenches identity. It awakens what grief sedated. And today, I say to you, this healing touches it all. From the oldest wound to the most recent worry, I am spreading wholeness like wildfire. So lean in now, child. Open your heart as wide as your pain once felt. Because what I am releasing is not conditional on your perfection. It is anchored in my compassion. Your healing doesn't begin with your strength. It begins with my love. And my love is unrelenting, unstoppable, and undeniable. I'm not here to make you feel better for a day. I'm here to resurrect the real you. The you who dared to dream before heartbreak rewrote the story. The you who worshipped wildly before disappointment taught you to hold back. That version of you is not lost. It has been waiting in the shadows of my presence. And now, I'm bringing it back into the light. This healing will not be passive. It will be powerful. It will be proof that when I send something from heaven, it does not return without fulfilling what I intended. Spirit, emotions, mind, dreams, identity. I'm touching every layer. Because you're not a problem to solve. You're a masterpiece I'm restoring. The ache that's been buried beneath your daily routine, the silent despair that no one saw, I have come to touch that place with my power. I see the ache behind your eyes, the weight that hides beneath your morning routine. You've been functioning but not flourishing, smiling but not safe. And oh, child, how skillfully you've hidden it. You've wrapped your pain in productivity. You've learned how to survive with a limp so well, others think you're dancing. But I know the ache that greets you before your feet hit the floor. I know the dread that slips in during quiet hours when no one is looking. I've felt the silent cries you never voiced, the exhaustion that no sleep has been able to fix. You've been faithful to keep moving, to keep showing up, to keep doing what's expected. But underneath it all, there's a fracture, a buried despair. A place you don't even talk about anymore because you've convinced yourself healing there is impossible. But child, I'm not limited by what man calls impossible. At Blaze, I have come to touch it, not with sympathy, but with power. Let me be clear. This isn't just about comforting you in that place. I am confronting it with heaven's authority. The sorrow that settled there has become too familiar. But I never created you to live in emotional limbo, where you function outwardly, but grieve secretly. That's not peace. It's survival. And I did not call you to survive. I called you to live fully, deeply, and healed. The despair that you've buried beneath busyness is being unearthed right now because I'm after the whole of you, not just the visible parts. And my child, I don't just remove pain. I redeem it. The place of aching is about to become the place of anointing. The very ground that sorrow tried to claim will become the altar of breakthrough. Yes, I'm digging deep. Yes, I'm disturbing the numb places. But it's because I want to awaken you. You've been asleep inside for far too long. I know how it started. A disappointment here. A betrayal there. A silent erosion of joy that felt too small to name at first. But over time, those moments gathered. And now they live like ghosts behind your routine. You go through the motions, but there's a part of you that hasn't felt truly alive in years. I know that place. I've lingered there, waiting for you to notice me hovering in the quiet. I've never recoiled from your despair. I've only waited for the right moment to bring light where you only saw gray. And this is that moment. My light is not symbolic. It is active. It heals. It reaches. It restores. The darkness that made a home inside your daily rhythm is being evicted. The despair that crept in through unanswered prayers is now being overruled by a grayer decree. I am the God who heals you, not just externally, but internally. The ache you stopped mentioning is the ache I'm healing first. So, child, don't resist me here. Don't protect what's been wounding you. Don't defend the sadness that's stolen your laughter. Let me in. Let me do what no one else has had the courage or the power to do. Let me unbury the beauty beneath the ache. I'm not afraid of your sorrow. I'm not overwhelmed by your heaviness. I'm moved by it. And now I move on it. A hidden ache is about to become a holy testimony. What was once your deepest pain is about to become your loudest praise. And not because you fought harder, but because I came closer. This healing is personal. I'm not here to fix a part of your life. I came to resurrect you. All of you. And I'm starting exactly where you thought I wouldn't go. At buried 8. I'm touching it with power, and I'm not leaving until resurrection happens. You thought healing was delayed, but I was preparing the exact moment where your faith would collide with fulfillment. My child, I know how long you've waited. I saw how the days dragged like unanswered prayers and how nights wrapped themselves around your faith like a thick fog. You called it delay. You called it silence. You wondered if perhaps I had forgotten the promises I made to you. But I whisper this now, with the full authority of eternity. Nothing was delayed. It was being divinely timed. What felt like a pause was actually preparation. What felt like absence was strategy. I was not ignoring your cries, and I was orchestrating your rescue. I was not procrastinating your healing. I was perfecting the environment for its arrival. Because what I give is not rushed, is not reactive. It is refined. Refined in wisdom. Refined in love. Refined in power. And I refuse to deliver prematurely what is meant to shift your life permanently. There is a moment when faith meets fulfillment, a precise second when the tension breaks and the answer falls. That moment is sacred. That moment is strategic. And that moment, child, is now. You have stood in faith longer than you realized. You have walked forward when every step felt like dragging chains. You have believed through barren seasons and sown seeds in soils that looked unwilling. You kept moving when there was no movement around you. You believed when nothing looked different. That kind of faith can't go unrewarded. That kind of endurance activates divine response. And now, I declare with certainty, your waiting is colliding with my will. The delays you cursed will be revealed as the protection you didn't understand. I held you back from things that would have broken you too soon. I rerouted timelines to mature your hope so that when this moment came, you would not just receive the healing, I would be able to trust you to carry it. Let's not pretend the journey was easy. Let's not gloss over the pain. You've walked through deserts. You've stood under skies that refused to open. But every step you took with trembling faith carved a path straight into this hour. I was not late. I was layering the breakthrough with depth. Because when I heal, I do not just restore what was broken. I establish what could never be shaken again. That's why it took time. That's why it felt silent. Because I was not preparing a moment. I was preparing you. And child, you are ready now. This alignment is not random. It is radiant with divine intelligence. The people you lost, the opportunities that slipped away, the doors that slammed shut, they were all part of making room for this exact release. And now the cure is not only en route, it is here. It hath been loosed from heaven. It has your name engraved into its assignment, and it will not miss. You see, when faith collides with fulfillment, it doesn't just answer a prayer, it alters the atmosphere. That's what's happening now. The room around you is shifting. The air is heavy with glory. Even your breath will begin to feel lighter because the burden is being lifted. This is not just healing from symptoms. It's deliverance from cycles. This is not just the end of pain. It's the birthing of promise. And it was never delayed. It was destined. And now, child, destiny has arrived. What I am releasing now was not manufactured by man. This is not second-hand relief. It is divine remedy sealed with my authority. Listen to me, beloved. This healing, this release, is not the work of human hands. It was not stirred up by man's method or calculated by a committee of opinions. This is not therapy for your soul. It is transformation. This is not earthly medicine. It is heavenly mandate. The remedy I'm sending has never sat on a shelf. It is not second-hand. It is not repurposed. It is not recycled from someone else's breakthrough. No, this is fresh. This is original. This is divine. And I sealed it with something no one can duplicate. My authority. You've been surrounded by many voices. Some offered advice, some offered sympathy, and some offered silence when you needed help the most. But what I am releasing doesn't come from suggestion or sympathy. It flows from sovereignty. I am your creator, your healer, your restorer. I know every layer of what's broken, and only I can put it back together without residue. Child, I have assigned angels to guard this remedy. I've placed a shield around it so no contamination from fear, doubt, or delay could taint what I designed for your recovery. This is not an accident. This is an answer. And I need you to understand this clearly. When I release something with my authority, nothing on earth or hell can override it. This is heaven's prescription written in the ink of eternity. And it will not fail. The package I've prepared for your healing carries layers that man cannot see. It moves through timelines. It repairs what you thought was unrepairable. It revives what seemed unrecoverable. It is not just balm. It is blueprint. It is my signature over your story. And when I sign something, no other hand can erase it. Let's expose something now. You've grown tired of almost, tired of temporary, tired of shallow encouragement that never touched the real wound. You've been given advice that didn't fit your ache. You've been handed words that lacked weight. And so you started to believe maybe the deep things inside you were beyond help. But hear me now, child, they are not. They never were. They were just waiting for me. Only I could design what you need. Only I could dig deep enough. Only I could send something that heals without harming, that restores without rushing. And now I have. This healing comes wrapped in mercy, gripping with power, soaked in eternal certainty. It will not expire. It will not miss its mark. It was never for anyone else. It was always for you. Let this sink in. I have sent a cure that man cannot replicate. And it will touch more than your symptoms. It will touch the systems that were infected by fear, the memories stained with regret, the emotions distorted by betrayal. This remedy knows its assignment. It comes with intention. And its intention is to make you whole. Not just functioning, flourishing. Not just surviving, soaring. I'm doing something permanent, something powerful, something profound. The relief you feel will not be fleeting. The healing you receive will not be hollow. Because I, the Lord your God, have authored it. It carries my breath, my name, my guarantee. And no one, not even you, can sabotage what I have sovereignly sealed. Heaven has dispatched a cure that knows your name, your need, and your history. It has been tailor-crafted to reach the very root of what's been hurting. My beloved, when I say a cure has been dispatched, I do not mean a generic answer or a vague solution. I mean that something sacred has been spoken into motion, encoded with your identity, marked with the divine coordinates of your pain, and aimed at the very root of what's been hurting you. This cure is not guesswork. It is not approximate. It is exact. It is intimate. It knows your name. It knows the nights you kept quiet so others wouldn't worry. It knows the parts of your story you don't even know how to speak out loud anymore. It knows the silent corners of your heart where you placed the pain you thought was too old, too messy, or too complicated to fix. But I saw it all. I tracked every tremble in your spirit. And I designed this cure not just for what's visible, but for what's buried beneath the survival. The remedy I am sending does not skim the surface. It goes underground, into the soil where sorrow has tried to sow lies, and it pulls up every root with holy precision. This healing is not a blanket. It's a blueprint. Tailor-crafted, heaven-engineered, fitted to your frame and timeline in such a way that no one else can wear it. This isn't something you stumbled into. This is something I created with you in mind before the ache ever entered your life. The broken places in you have not been forgotten. They have been studied by grace. I know where the scar tissue lies. I know where your faith flinched. I know what memories still echo like a warning bell inside your mind. But this cure is not intimidated by your pain. It was built to confront it, crafted not just with healing in mind, but with resurrection in its bones. You see, child, I don't just want you better, I want you whole. I'm not just ending your suffering, I'm recovering your identity. Because some of the pain didn't just hurt, it rewrote who you thought you were. And I came to undo the lie and rewrite the truth with healing ink. This cure is surgical, strategic. It will find its way into the deepest disappointments, the ones you stopped praying about because you assumed the answer was no. But child, I didn't say no. I said not yet. Because timing matters when precision is required. You don't need a blanket fix. You need a breakthrough built for the architecture of your soul. That's what I've made. I dispatched it the moment your faith whispered, God, I still believe, even if it hurts. You didn't know the sentence shook heaven. You didn't know that whisper became a war cry. But it did. And the moment it was spoken, I sent angels in motion. Not just with comfort, but with correction, clarity, and divine course realignment. This cure comes with instructions embedded in its presence. As it heals, it will also lead. As it mends, it will move you. Because what I've prepared for you is not just about healing what hurt. It's about restoring what's next. And child, hear me clearly. This remedy will reach places that have been untouched for years. Not because I was withholding, but because I was waiting for the fullness of time. I am not late. I am precise. And when I heal, I don't leave you patched, I make you new. This is your moment. This is your miracle. And it is tailor-made for you. And no one else could receive what I'm releasing right now, because no one else walked the path you did. And that path, painful as it's been, carve a space inside of you wide enough to hold what I'm pouring in now. This is more than recovery. This is restoration by design. And it's already begun. You've asked, Lord, when will the pain stop? And I'm answering, now, child. Now is the hour healing enters. You've whispered that question more times than you've admitted, haven't you? Lord, when will it stop? You didn't scream it, but I heard it anyway. You carried it in your silence, tucked beneath the polite smile, behind the conversations where you nodded and encouraged others, while you felt yourself falling apart on the inside. You kept functioning, even while something in you kept breaking. You hoped that if you just made it through another day, maybe relief would find you. But the clock kept ticking, and pain became your background music. Always there, always humming, always pulling. You asked me quietly, cautiously, because you weren't sure if it was okay to ask anymore. You didn't want to sound ungrateful, but your heart was breaking. And I want you to know, child, I never dismissed your question. I never rolled my eyes at your weakness. I leaned in. I lingered in the weight of it. And now, I am answering with clarity. The pain is ending. Now is the hour healing enters. Let the power of that word sink into you. Now. Not next year. Not in some vague future. Not when everything lines up perfectly in your eyes. Now. Because your healing is not based on your performance. It's based on my promise. You thought pain had the final say, but it was only holding space for glory. What you called a delay was the final stretch before delivery. And I have not forgotten a single wound. I am not late to your suffering. I've been near all along. I've watched the very moments when your soul trembled under pressure, when your body felt like a cage, when your hope became thin. I was not absent. I was preparing the very moment your spirit would be ready to hear this declaration. Healing has entered the room. not just for a portion of your life, for the whole of you, from the crown of your head to the depths of your memory, from the visible to the invisible. Healing is arriving with force. Don't mistake this moment for mere encouragement. This is not inspiration, it is intervention. I have stepped in. Heaven has crossed the threshold. Healing is not approaching. Healing is here. It had been waiting for your yes. And now that your heart is open, even in exhaustion, I am flooding in with restoration that will leave no part untouched. The pain you've carried like a second skin will begin to peel off. The numbness you accepted as normal will begin to thaw. Where you once braced yourself for more disappointment, you'll begin to breathe freely again. Not because you fought harder, but because I declared it finished. I have drawn a line, and pain is not allowed to cross it. Let me say it again so you never doubt it. Now is the hour. The divine stopwatch has struck. The alarm of destiny has sounded. This is the turning point. What plagued your days and haunted your nights is now being dismantled. I am erasing the residue of old wounds and releasing the aroma of fresh peace. You will walk differently. You will think differently. You will feel differently. And not because anything around you changed, but because I changed you. I am the God who doesn't just stop pain. I resurrect purpose. And that purpose begins now. This cure isn't temporary comfort. It is complete restoration, the kind that doesn't just fix, but rewrites what was broken. My child, hear me with more than your ears, hear me with your spirit. This healing I have sent is not a passing touch, not a fleeting fix, not a bandage over a bleeding soul. No, what I'm doing in you is not comfort that wears off when the wind changes. It's not a fleeting feeling or a moment of emotional relief. What I've released into your life is restoration, real and irrevocable. The kind that doesn't patch up broken things, but rewrites the story altogether. I am not content to simply alleviate your pain. I am here to undo its claim on you. I'm not just healing what broke you. I'm erasing the sentence pain tried to write into your identity. This isn't repair. It's resurrection. I know what it feels like to have moments where you thought you were mending, only to feel everything collapse again under one unexpected pressure. I know what it's like to build with shaking hands, only to watch hope unravel thread by thread. You've experienced relief, but not release. You felt better for a moment, only to crash again under the weight of memory and fear. But now, child, now I'm bringing something different. I'm not just reaching into your today. I'm rewriting your yesterday. I'm going back into the very framework of your pain and reshaping it until even your memories begin to feel different. But once triggered torment will soon radiate testimony. Because I don't just remove the wound. I redeem the reason it was there in the first place. This is not a surface sweep. This is a soul-deep rebuild. I am rewiring how you see yourself. You believed you were broken beyond restoration, that your best hope was to carry the scars quietly and move on. But that's not my way. I am the God who makes all things new. Not patched, not duct taped. New. The kind of new that looks unrecognizable to your past. The kind of new that leaves no residue of the pain behind it. I am rebuilding your joy on a foundation that trauma cannot touch. I'm breathing into the ashes of what you lost, not just to revive it, but to reimagine it in glory. That's the kind of restoration I'm talking about. That's what's already unfolding inside you. And you didn't have to beg for it. You just had to stay near, stay believing, stay soft. And you did. Even through the ache. Even through the questions. So I speak this over you now with the full authority of heaven's decree. The restoration I'm giving will not fade. It will not wear off like fleeting inspiration. It will last. It will hold. It will transform you from the inside out. And not only will you be changed, but others will see it too. They'll see the light in your eyes and wonder how it returned. They'll hear the stability in your voice and be astonished at the strength behind it. They'll look at the same person, but they won't recognize you, because what I've done in secret will shine in the open, and it will be undeniable that this wasn't man-made. This was divine, because only heaven writes endings like this. Only I can take broken pieces and create not a copy of what was, but a masterpiece of what could never have been without me. I've watched you master your suffering with a smile, love others while you yourself were bleeding. That offering did not go unnoticed. I want you to know, beloved, I saw you. I saw the nights you stayed up so others could sleep peacefully. I saw how you wiped your tears quickly when someone else needed encouragement. You gave joy even when yours was running out. You kept speaking life into others while your own soul was growing silent. I watched how you carried people, held space for them, made room for their pain, all while secretly bleeding inside yourself. And yes, you thought no one noticed. You thought your strength went unseen. But I, the God who sees every sparrow fall and numbers every strand of your hair, I recorded every moment you chose love over bitterness, generosity over resentment, kindness over collapse. You thought you were surviving, but you were sowing. And heaven has kept a record of every seed. You see, while others praised the loud ones, I was watching the quiet ones, the ones like you who suffered in silence, yet chose to serve anyway. You could have shut down. You could have turned cold. You could have said, "It's too much," and walked away. What you didn't. You stayed tender in the tension. And I want you to know that offering, the offering of your unseen endurance, was more precious to me than any public display. You weren't acting strong for the spotlight. You were being faithful in the shadows. And that kind of love, that kind of courage, it moves me. It moves heaven. That's why the healing I'm releasing into your life now isn't just about your pain. It's about honoring your posture. You gave what you didn't have, and now I'm filling you with what only I can give. Don't let anyone convince you that your pain was invisible to me. I was in the room when you collapsed in silence. I was beside you when you smiled for others while dying inside. I watched you treat others with grace, even when your own heart was running dry. That's why I've come to restore you. Not just because you asked, but because you gave. Because you loved sacrificially. Because you bled beautifully. And I'm here to tell you, it mattered. Every unnoticed act, every unthanked kindness, every private cry, it all counted. And now, the heavens are opening not just to heal your wounds, but to honor your worship. Yes, child, that was worship. When you chose love through your limp. When you gave hope from your hollow. When you lifted others while no one lifted you. That was holy. And I did not forget. So now, I come not only to heal you, I come to reward you. What was done in private is about to be answered in public. You will be healed in ways that carry weight. Not shallow fixes, but soul-shaking favor. And those who overlooked your suffering will witness your restoration. But this is not revenge. It's revelation. It's the revealing of what I've always seen in you. The world saw a strong face. I saw a faithful heart. And that heart has caught the attention of angels. So receive now. Breathe again. Rest. Let me pour into you what no one else could. Because the healing that's here is not just for your pain. It's heaven's way of saying, I saw you. I remember. And I will not let the one who bled in silence go unrewarded. The pressure you've carried wasn't punishment. It was preparation. And now the weight is shifting to glory. Child, the pressure that wrapped itself around you like invisible chains, the heaviness that met you every morning before your feet touched the floor, that wasn't random, that wasn't wrath, it wasn't some cruel twist of fate or a misstep in your faith. It was preparation, divine, deliberate, purposeful preparation. You mistook the weight as evidence of distance. But what if I told you it was the opposite? What if I told you that I allowed the weight because I was forging something holy in you that comfort could never create? I was shaping steel in your soul where there once was softness, not to harden you in bitterness, but to anchor you in boldness. You've carried the unseen burdens of broken expectations and silent sacrifices, thinking maybe this was just your portion. But I whisper now, no, child. This wasn't punishment. This was preparation for promotion. And now, listen with your spirit. The weight is shifting. What was pressure is becoming power. What was burden is becoming breakthrough. The heaviness you bore is now being converted into a divine unveiling of glory. The same places that groaned under strain will now erupt in praise. Because I do not waste pain. I do not overlook endurance. You carried what others couldn't see and stood in storms that didn't get headlines. But all of heaven was watching. And not just watching, recording. Marking every moment, measuring every tear, counting every silent yes you gave when it cost you everything. And I say this to you, the weight you carried was never yours to bear forever. I allowed it to build a capacity in you for glory that few ever carry. And now, that glory is about to be revealed. You've been stretched in secret, and now I'm about to bless you in public. You've been tested in the quiet, and now I'm about to honor you with a sound that cannot be silenced. Don't underestimate the pressure. Diamonds are born there. Oil flows from crushing. Wine only comes when the grape is pressed. And you, beloved, have been in the press. But now the release begins. And not a drop of what you've walked through will be wasted. The pressing season is turning into a pouring season. What once pressed you down will now be the very platform I use to raise you up. That's the kind of glory I'm talking about. Not spotlight, not performance, but weighty, holy, undeniable glory. The kind that silences doubt. The kind that breaks generational patterns. The kind that turns mourning into movement. So breathe, child. You've made it through the tunnel. You're emerging now. Lighter. Stronger. Radiant with a strength not of your own, but forged in fire and wrapped in grace. This weight is glory. This shift is sacred, and you're not carrying it alone. I'm lifting you even as you read this. I'm redeeming the tension, reinterpreting the pain, rewriting the reason for the pressure. It was never to crush you. It was always to crown you. And now, as the weight begins to shift and the healing flows like oil, I ask you, will you help me send this cure to others? Because this word was not just for you. It is medicine for multitudes. As I lift the burden off your shoulders, I call you to sow into the very river that is restoring you. Your seed becomes a lifeline for someone else's deliverance. This is good soil, and I, the Lord your God, promise. He who refreshes others will himself be refreshed. Proverbs 11:25. As you give, you're not giving to man. You're fueling the fire of my word. Through super thanks, membership, or the altar of giving through PayPal, you are activating a harvest that reaches where your feet cannot go. So now, go to the description and give. Let your obedience become someone else's healing. I've seen every night your body ached, every tear that soaked your pillow while others slept. Heaven has counted each one, and now moves in response. Oh my child, if only you could see what I see when you sleep. If only you knew how closely I've watched over your night seasons, not just the clocked-out rest, but the restless ones. The ones where your body ached in ways even medicine couldn't explain. The nights when sleep refused to come and silence became deafening. You were wrapped in darkness, but I was wrapped around you. You thought your tears were going unnoticed, dripping uselessly into your pillow. But I tell you this, heaven counted each one. They were not wasted. They were not ignored. They were received. Every teardrop was like a note of worship in the chambers of my throne. You didn't cry in weakness, you cried in surrender. And those tears, they watered the ground beneath your breakthrough. There is no suffering in your life that has gone unrecorded by me. Not a moment of agony, not a whisper of "God, where are you?" has escaped my attention. While others slept peacefully, unaware of the storm inside your chest, I was in the storm with you. I've seen you clutch the edge of your blanket like it was the last tether to sanity. I've heard the sighs you didn't want to become sobs. I've been present for every tossing turn, every sharp pain, every deep ache. And I didn't just observe, I absorbed. I took your pain into the heart of my intercession. And now, because nothing goes unnoticed in my kingdom, heaven is responding. Yes, child, response has been activated. The stillness of your night is giving way to the stirrings of divine movement. You may not feel it yet, but there are angels in motion. Assignments have been released. The same God who watched you weep is now sending wind into your weary places. The cure you've longed for, the peace you've craved, the healing you dared to believe for, it's being dispatched on the wings of your weeping. I never needed loud faith. I responded to loyal faith. Faith that stays when feelings flee. Faith that prays when answers don't. Faith that believes while bleeding. That's what you gave me. And now, I give back. Restoration, renewal, resurrection. So let the weight of my presence replace the weight of your worry. Let the tears you cried in secret now be the catalyst for what I do in the open. You will rise from this bed not just rested, but rebuilt. I'm healing you in layers, in waves, in depths beyond what language can describe. And it begins now. Diek has an answer. The night has a name. And I, the God of all comfort, the one who hears even the sob behind the silence, I am moving in response. You suffered long enough. Now watch what I do with what you survive. What the doctors couldn't see, what your friends couldn't understand, I knew intimately. I was there in every silent struggle. Child, there were moments you sat under the fluorescent lights of sterile rooms, hoping someone, anyone, would see past the surface of your symptoms. You nodded through appointments, answering questions, hearing suggestions, watching their eyes scan charts as if the real issue was on the paper. But deep down you knew the ache was deeper. The pain was older. The fracture wasn't only in your body, it was in your story. The doctors did their best. Your friends tried to listen. But there were places they could not reach, words they could not speak, and wounds they could not name. But I knew. I knew before you could even articulate the ache. I saw the invisible battle playing out beneath your skin, within your thoughts, behind your breath. And I never left your side. While others saw a case or a condition, I saw my child, wounded, weary, and worthy of divine attention. You tried to explain the pain, but language failed you. Not because you were weak, but because this was never meant to be understood by man. It was meant to be healed by me. The world treats symptoms, but I address roots. They looked for data, but I looked at your destiny. And that's why I never judged you for the breakdowns. I never turned away from the confusion. I stood beside your bed when no one knew the war that raged behind your eyes. I held your hand in the waiting room, even when your face held stillness but your soul was screaming. I translated every tear. I interpreted every groan. Not one breath you took in pain was wasted or unnoticed. And now, I say this with the full assurance of heaven. I'm bringing healing to the places they missed. Not because they were evil, but because they were limited. They had knowledge, but I have omniscience. They offered treatment, but I offer transformation. You've been told to manage, to cope, to adjust. But I say to you, you were not created to carry this pain forever. I didn't design you to adapt to affliction. I designed you to overcome it. And while others gave you labels, I am giving you liberty. The healing I'm releasing bypasses the need for human comprehension. It doesn't require permission from diagnosis. It doesn't wait on validation from people who never walked in your shoes. It comes straight from the throne, with authority, with accuracy, and with affection. Yes, and child, affection. Because I'm not just healing you as a patient. I'm loving you as a parent. I'm restoring you as the one who knows you. Not just your condition, your capacity, your calling, your crown. So breathe again. Let the fear of what if they don't understand me begin to fade. Because I do understand. I always did. And the healing that is coming to you now isn't random. It's relational. It's not based on science. It's based on sovereignty. What they missed, I'm mending. What they couldn't explain, I'm erasing. What they couldn't treat, I'm transforming. I am the great physician, and I don't need a chart to know your condition. I've walked with you in the silence. I've wept with you in the confusion. And now, I'm coming through with power. Your silent struggle is about to become a supernatural testimony. This is not about medication. This is about my manifestation. When I send healing, it carries eternal impact. Let me speak this with clarity, my precious one. What is happening in your life right now is not just a shift in your body, or your mood, or your circumstance. It is a manifestation of my presence. This is not about formulas or prescriptions or chemical balances. I honor those things when they serve, but what I am doing now cannot be manufactured in a lab or measured in numbers. This is miraculous. This is a move of heaven made visible on earth. This is not the work of medication. This is the manifestation of me. I have stepped into your atmosphere. I have filled your air with power. You may feel it as peace. You may sense it as stillness. You may tremble under it as fire. But whatever the expression, know this, I am here, and healing is happening because I am. When I manifest, nothing remains untouched. I do not enter halfway. I do not release fragments of myself. When I show up, I come in fullness. And that fullness fills you, changes you, renews you. That's what you're sensing right now, even if you don't have words for it. It's more than relief. It's recalibration. Your spirit is being retuned to the frequency of heaven. Your body is beginning to align with the divine design I originally spoke over you. Your thoughts are coming under the sound of truth again, no longer ruled by fear or fatigue or frustration. This is not a coincidence. This is consecration. I'm making you whole again, not just in function but in foundation, not just in body but in being. And the healing I bring, it lasts, it lingers, it leads, because it doesn't only make you better, it makes you brighter. It doesn't only restore what was lost, it ignites what was dormant. When my manifestation touches your life, it doesn't just remove pain, it awakens purpose. That's why this feels bigger than you expected. That's why something in you is stirring, even now, as these words reach into the deepest corridors of your soul. Because I'm not here to numb you. I'm here to name you. I'm calling you healed. I'm calling you whole. I'm calling you chosen, cherished, charged with glory. The pain was a chapter, but healing is the headline. And I, the author, have stepped into the scene. And when the author arrives, the story must bow. So, child, welcome the weight of my presence. Let it wash over you like holy rain. Let it burn through the fog like a blazing fire. What's happening now isn't symbolic. It's supernatural. You're not reading words, you're receiving revelation. And that revelation carries restoration. I am manifesting myself in your life, not as a distant idea, but as a present power. Not as a someday promise, but as a now reality. And when I manifest, I don't just heal, I leave a mark that nothing can erase. This moment is holy. This cure is eternal. And this healing, child, is the evidence that I am here. My healing doesn't just remove pain, it restores purpose. You're not just being rescued, you're being realigned. Listen to me, child. What I'm doing in your life right now is far more than easing discomfort or silencing symptoms. My healing always carries a deeper mission. I don't simply lift pain to bring you relief. I do it to reveal who you truly are. Because buried beneath every wound, beneath every season of struggle and every disappointment that tried to silence your fire, there is purpose. Eternal purpose. And pain, though it tried to bury it, never had the power to erase it. I've watched how you adjusted your life around your suffering, how you made room for limitations that were never meant to define you. You thought surviving was enough, but I am calling you back to thriving. You were not just meant to escape the darkness, you were created to shine in it. And now that healing is flowing, purpose is rising. Do you feel that stirring in your chest? That holy restlessness? That's not anxiety, it's alignment. It's the sound of your calling being reawakened. Because I am not just removing pain, I am recommissioning you. You had dreams once, but they went quiet. You had passion, but it got buried beneath the weight of what you carried. But I never forgot them. I've kept the blueprint of your destiny safe in my hands while you were walking through the fire. And now, as I remove the ashes, the blueprints return. Child, what I have for you doesn't just bring healing, it brings holy direction. I'm pointing your feet toward places you thought were no longer available to you. I'm reactivating your voice for rooms you thought you'd never enter again. This healing isn't the end of the story. It's the bridge to what I originally designed. You thought healing meant going back to normal. But I don't do normal, I do new. I do divine resets. I do resurrection assignments. You're not going back to who you were before the pain. You're stepping into the version of yourself that pain could never touch. Do you understand what that means? It means the very affliction the enemy tried to use to sideline you is now being used as your stage of re-entry. The same place where you felt the most broken is about to become the ground where purpose plants its feet and stands tall. And no one, not even you, can undo what I am unfolding. This isn't just rescue. It's realignment. Every step I take to heal you is a step I take to position you for influence, for impact, for intimacy with me like you've never known. So don't just expect to feel better. Expect to walk differently. Expect your decisions to carry more clarity. Expect divine nudges that lead you into rooms with assignments attached. The healing I've sent is holy in its reach and radical in its results. It does not simply fix what was. It calls forth what is yet to be. You were born for such a time as this, and no storm, no wound, has disqualified you. I'm aligning your life to heaven's timeline. I'm syncing your soul to heaven's rhythm. And the healing you receive today is not the end. It's the unlocking of your next chapter. Don't be afraid to live again. Don't be afraid to feel again. I am not just healing you. I'm restoring your capacity for joy. My child, I know what happened. I know why you began to pull back. Why you stopped dreaming too far ahead. Why you laughed less, trusted less, felt less. When pain stays long enough, it starts teaching lies, that joy isn't safe, that hope will only betray you again, that every high will just be followed by a harder fall. And so, without even realizing it, you began to numb yourself to protect what was left. You didn't stop believing altogether, but you did stop expecting. You started surviving with emotional armor that looked like wisdom but was really just quiet fear. And I don't condemn you for that. I understand. But now, I come to speak directly into that quiet fear and command it to let go. Because I am not just here to heal your body or your circumstances. I'm here to restore your capacity for joy. You were created to feel deeply, not just pain, but wonder. Not just burden, but beauty. I knit into your spirit a sensitivity that lets heaven touch earth through you. But the trials you endured dulled that sense. And I know why. You had to shut certain emotion down just to make it through the days. You started minimizing your joy so their loss wouldn't devastate you. But in doing so, you've been living half alive. And now I say to you, it's time to come fully alive again. I'm removing the fear of feeling. I am healing the places that convinced you joy was dangerous. Because joy isn't dangerous when it's rooted in me. It's divine. It is your inheritance. It is your weapon. And I'm placing it back into your hands. Let me be clear, joy is not weakness. Joy is not denial of the struggle. Joy is resistance to despair. It is rebellion against the spirit of heaviness. And you, my beloved, are about to laugh again with a kind of freedom that can only come from one who has walked through fire and come out carrying gold. Your emotions will no longer be your enemies. Your sensitivity will no longer be your liability. I'm restoring you, not just in strength but in softness. I'm bringing back the wonder in your worship. I'm reigniting the color in your world. You will feel again, without fear of falling apart. Because this time, you're not walking on your own. My joy is becoming your foundation, and no storm can shake what is built upon me. So breathe deeply. Feel fully. Dream boldly. This is not false hope. This is holy healing. The kind that touches even the corners of your personality you thought you lost. The kind that breathes on your heart until it starts singing again. I'm not just reviving your body. I'm reviving your soul. Because I want you to live, not just endure. I want you to dance, not just tread water. I want you to laugh, not just smile politely. And most of all, I want you to know, it is safe to feel again. Because when joy is reborn under the wings of my presence, it will not disappoint you. It will carry you. And I will be in every moment of it. You've been carrying silent fears. What if it comes back? What if the peace doesn't last? But I assure you, this healing is secured by my covenant, not your performance. Beloved, you've dared to hope again, and with that hope, a quiet trembling has followed. You feel the shift. You sense the weight lifting. But deep inside, behind your celebration, there's a whisper you haven't spoken aloud. What if it comes back? What if this healing doesn't hold? What if I get better only to break again? You see, I know even the secret fears, the ones you think are too small to mention, too fragile to bring to light. But I'm not afraid of your doubt. I'm not disappointed in your questions. I'm the God who welcomes every whisper of uncertainty, not to shame you, but to settle you. And I want you to hear me now, clearly, tenderly, powerfully. This healing is not temporary. It's not conditional. It's not balancing on the edge of your perfection. This healing is secured by my covenant, and my covenant cannot be broken. You didn't earn this healing with flawless faith. It came because of my faithfulness. You didn't trigger this breakthrough with perfect prayers. It came because of my relentless mercy. That's why it will last. Because it isn't built on your strength. It's built on my word. And my word is eternal. My promises are sealed in blood, not ink. They are written into the very fabric of your future. I've watched how trauma taught you to doubt good things. I've seen how past disappointment tried to wrap its fingers around every new beginning. But I've come now to cut those cords. I've come to silence that old fear. Yes, and child, that fear that says joy is short-lived, that peace is borrowed, that healing is always at risk of being undone. That fear is lying, because what I do in your life, I seal. What I heal, I cover. What I restore, I sustain. You don't have to hold this healing together. I will. You don't have to perform your way into permanence. I've already paid the price. This peace I've placed inside you, it's not fragile. It's not like glass that shatters under pressure. It's like a cornerstone. It's like an anchor, and it's been fastened to the foundation of my covenant. That means no storm can undo it. No relapse, no thought, no weakness can reverse it. Even if fear tries to creep in, it will find no footing. Because I've surrounded this healing with my presence. It's not floating loosely around your life. It's held firmly by my hands. And those hands do not tremble. Those hands do not let go. You can breathe now, deeply, freely, knowing this. You're not walking on eggshells, you're standing on a rock. So rest, child. Let go of the fear of reversal. This is not like before. This healing is not on loan. It's not a test. It's a testimony in motion. And when I move, I don't do half healing. I do complete deliverance. You don't have to tiptoe around the blessing I've given. You don't have to protect it like it might escape. It is protected by me. And I, the Lord your God, am not only your healer, I am your keeper. What I've started, I will finish. What I've released, I will sustain. And what I've declared over your life, no shadow can steal. This healing is secure. You are safe. And this time, you won't lose it. You'll live in it. I didn't just heal your body. I've touched your timeline. I've come into your past to restore, and into your future to prepare. Oh, my beloved, what I'm doing for you is so much more than physical restoration. Yes, I've touched your body. Yes, I'm mending what was fractured. But healing, true, heaven-born healing, always moves across dimensions. It's not limited to where you are now. It flows backwards and forward. It writes, reclaims, redeems. And that's what I'm doing. Even as you read these words, my presence is moving through your timeline. I've gone into the past, into the moments where you were wounded in ways no one saw, into the seasons you tried to forget, into the younger version of you that still echoes with confusion and heartbreak. I'm there. I'm walking the corridors of memory, not just to observe, but to restore. You see, child, pain leaves echoes. It plants beliefs. It whispers lies. It builds altars of fear that try to govern the choices you make now. But I'm tearing those down. I'm lifting shame out by the root. I'm reaching into conversations you still replay and healing the wounds you didn't know were still bleeding. You thought you had to move on without closure, but I've come to give you closure that only I can provide. I've gone back to touch the child version of you, the you that felt abandoned, the you that was betrayed, the you that was silenced. And I'm speaking truth over every chapter. You were never forsaken. You were never forgotten. You were never disqualified. I was there, even when you couldn't see me. And now I'm redeeming every page the enemy tried to stain. But I'm not just healing the past. I'm also stepping into your future. I'm going ahead of you, clearing the path, removing traps, softening hardened ground. You will not walk into your next season with the residue of the last one. What you're stepping into has already been soaked in my presence. You will be alone in what's coming. I've already filled your future with favor. I've stationed provision at every point. I've assigned angels to align your steps with precision. This healing is not just a moment, it's a movement. And it's moving you toward promise, toward divine appointments, toward relationships that will carry the fragrance of heaven, toward opportunities that will not exploit you but exalt me through you. Let me make this unmistakably clear. Your healing is not just a point in time. It's a timeline transformation. I've wrapped my hands around your past and my arms around your future. And in this present moment, I am holding you. You are not bound by what was. You are not blind to what will be. You are becoming who I always knew you were. Not because the path was easy, but because the pain led you straight into my power. So walk forward, child. Not with hesitation, but with holy confidence. Because I've healed more than your body. I've redeemed your story. You've wept for years over what you lost. But I tell you now, nothing is truly lost when it passes through my hands. I'm returning what was stolen, in ways you never imagined. Oh, my child, I have seen the tears you thought were buried too deep to be noticed. The silent years you grieved over what could have been, what was taken, what was broken, what vanished without warning. You held those losses like fragile relics of a life you once dreamed of. People told you to move on. Life told you to adjust. But your soul never stopped aching in those hidden places. I never rebuked you for the ache. I never told you your grief was too much. No, every tear, every memory, every pang of loss was caught in the folds of my robe. And now, I speak to you with divine certainty. Nothing is truly lost when it has passed through my hands. Yes, there were things stolen. Yes, there were doors that closed too soon. Yes, some relationships ended without justice. But I want you to know this. When the enemy touched what was yours, he didn't just provoke your pain. He provoked my power. Because anything the enemy touches that belongs to you becomes subject to my restoration. What the world calls loss, they call seed. And now, I am bringing forth a harvest. You cried for what was stolen, but now I'm giving you more than what was taken. I'm not just returning things the same. I'm returning them transformed, upgraded, multiplied, sanctified. What you lost in one season is coming back in another, wrapped in glory, drenched in redemption, and marked with my fingerprints. You see, I don't just repay, I restore. There is a difference. Repayment replaces what was taken, but restoration redeems what was broken and breathes into it divine intention. That child you wept over, that relationship you lost, that season that ended before its time. Watch what I do now. I'm bringing new joy that carries the same fragrance of the thing you lost, but it will not be tainted by sorrow. I'm not giving you recycled memories. I'm giving you resurrected purpose. I'm reaching into the hollow chambers of grief and planting promises that will grow into testimonies. This is not a recovery, it's a revival. I'm making what was buried bloom. So release the grip of regret. Let go of the fear that what's gone is gone forever. I am the God who doesn't let anything die without divine intention. Even the endings you didn't choose are being rewritten into beginnings you never expected. Don't be surprised when doors open where there once were only walls. Don't be shocked when laughter finds its way into places that were once graves. I have not just watched your pain, I've watched over it. And now, I command it to produce glory. This is your season of divine return. It won't look like what you lost, but it will feel like coming home. Others may have walked away when you were at your lowest, but I stayed. And now I'm lifting you, not because you proved yourself, but because I claimed you. I know what they did. I saw who left when your pain became too loud, too complicated, too inconvenient. There were people you thought would carry you, but they dropped you instead. You opened your heart, but when your struggle got too deep, they pulled away. And that pain, that particular pain, left more than a wound. It left a message in your mind. Maybe I'm too much. Maybe I don't matter when I'm not strong. Maybe I'm only loved when I'm useful. But child, let me rewrite that lie. I never left. I never turned my face. I never grew tired of your weakness. When they walked out, I walked in. When they grew silent, I leaned closer. When you were too weak to stand, I knelt beside you, and I never once asked you to earn my presence. I stayed because I chose you. You see, I didn't choose you for your perfection. I chose you for your heart. I didn't claim you for your strength. I claimed you because you are mine. And now, I am lifting you, not because you've reached some holy level of performance, but because I have declared you worthy. This isn't a reward. It's a rescue. I didn't come because you proved yourself. I came because I've always wanted you. My grace isn't a prize for those who perform. It's a lifeline for those who are drowning. And child, when you were drowning, I wrapped myself around your pain and whispered, "You're still mine." Not once did I reconsider. Not once did I hold your suffering against you. I stayed in the storm. I walked with you through the valley. And now I'm bringing you out, not limping but lifting. I know what abandonment can do to a soul. I know how it echoes, how it haunts, how it hides itself in every new connection. But I'm healing that. I'm healing the fear that you'll be left again. Because I do not leave. I do not flinch. I do not reconsider. You are not disposable to me. You are not a burden. You are beloved. And the lifting that's happening now, it's not just physical. I'm lifting your head. I'm lifting your self-worth. I'm lifting the shattered mirror you've been using to see yourself, and I'm replacing it with my eyes. You will see what I see. You will know what I know. You are chosen. J.L. Not because of anything you've done, but because of who I am. So let the past be the past. Let the empty chairs and broken promises fall away. Because I've stayed. And now I'm standing and extended, saying, "Come with me." I'm not just bringing you out of pain. I'm bringing you into promise. You don't have to convince me to stay. You never did. I stayed because I love you. And this lifting, it's just the beginning of your rise. For those who fell at their lowest, I raise to their highest. That's what I do. That's who I am. And I am still here. The enemy tried to convince you this was the end. But I have declared, this is your divine beginning. Healing is not where the story closes. It's where it finally opens. You stood at the edge of it, didn't you? The place where everything in you whispered, "This is where it ends." The weight was unbearable. The silence felt endless. You looked around and saw fragments, not futures. The enemy whispered, "There's nothing left. This is as far as you go." And in that moment, you almost believed it. Because the pain was real, the weariness was heavy, and it felt like you were living through the final paragraph of your life's chapter, barely breathing, barely holding on. But oh, child, how wrong the enemy was. Because what felt like a funeral was actually a birthing room. What looked like the end was simply the wrapping of the old so the new could emerge. And I say to you now, with the authority of the one who writes eternity, this is not the end. This is your divine beginning. Healing was never meant to be a full stop. It was always meant to be a gateway. And now that the healing has begun, so has the unveiling of your next chapter. Not one whim in pain, but in power. Not authored by trauma, but by truth. You've endured a long night, but the morning has arrived. And this light isn't like before. It doesn't just reveal what's around you. It reveals what's within you. You're not returning to who you were before the pain. You're stepping into who you were always destined to be. Because pain didn't cancel your purpose. It carved it. Every scar is now a sentence in the story I'm telling through you. And this story, it's going to shine with glory that no darkness can suppress. This new beginning isn't about pretending the past never happened. It's about reclaiming it, redeeming it, using it as a platform for power. You are not starting from zero. You're starting from revelation. You've seen what can break a soul, but now you'll see what can build one back stronger. You've tasted sorrow, but now you will feast on joy. You walked through endings, but now you will run into beginnings only I could have written. This chapter will not be marked by striving, but by surging, by movement that is heaven-authored and spirit-sustained. You are about to discover how much of my presence is waiting for you on the other side of your healing. So let hope rise again, not cautiously, but courageously. Let your heart believe in the wild possibility that the best isn't behind you. It's breaking forth right now. Don't mourn the end of what was. Celebrate the dawning of what is. Because you are not walking away from the story. You're walking into it. And I am the author and the finisher. I've never lost control of your narrative. I didn't just rescue you from death. I've resurrected your life with a destiny so radiant, even the angels lean in to watch. This, child, is not the closing act. This is the grand unveiling. This is your divine beginning. As you rise from the ashes of what was and step boldly into your divine beginning, I call you now to partner with me in resurrection power. What healed you was never meant to stop with you. It's meant to flow through you like a river of restoration for others. When you give, you are sowing into my mission, multiplying the miracle, and extending the reach of my voice to the broken, the forgotten, the desperate. This is not donation. It is destiny alignment. I declare over you now, give, and it will be given to you. Pressed down, shaken together, and running over into your lap. Luke 6:38. Through your super thanks, membership, or gift through PayPal, you are touching eternity. I've moved in you. Now move with me. Go to the description and give as one healed to heal. You're not just healed to feel better. You're healed to become who you were always meant to be. Destiny has been waiting for you to rise. Oh, my child, I never intended healing to be the end goal. No, healing is the beginning of becoming. You did endure all this just so you could wake up with less pain. I didn't restore you just so you could return to survival mode. I healed you because there is more. There is purpose aching to rise. There is destiny calling your name. There is territory only you can claim. Assignments only you can complete. You've walked through the fire and come out refined, not just relieved. You are not who you were before the pain, and that's exactly the point. You are more aware, more awakened, more aligned with what heaven sees when it looks at you. Every ounce of healing you've received carries power. Angas of a gummit of ever gone. I am raising you now, not just as a survivor of trials, but as a carrier of truth. You felt me in the valley, now you will reveal me on the mountain. You know what it's like to cry out in the dark. Now you will become a voice for others still lost in their midnight hour. Your healing is holy, but it's also a harvest. It's going to multiply. It's going to draw others into my presence, because your life will carry evidence, not just of restoration, but of recommissioning. You're not going back to normal. You're stepping into divine activation. Don't underestimate what you carry now. Heaven has deposited something weighty inside you. You have wisdom born of pain, compassion forged in affliction, authority sealed in surrender. And now that you're rising, I want you to walk like one who has been sent. Not just saved, not just healed. Sent. I'm sending you into places you once feared, into conversations you used to avoid, into environments where your presence alone will shift the atmosphere. You will not walk with a limb, you will walk with a legacy. You won't whisper apologies for your survival. You'll declare victory as one who knows what it means to be carried by grace. So get ready, child. The rising is not optional. It's ordained. You were made to soar, to shake off the garments of grief and put on the robe of royalty. Destiny is not behind you. It's before you. And now that healing has anchored your feet, nothing will stop the momentum I'm releasing. You will walk boldly. You will love deeply. You will speak with fire. And you will live, not as someone barely breathing, but as someone fully becoming. Because I didn't heal you just to restore what was. I healed you to reveal what always had been. The anointed, appointed, spirit-filled you the world has yet to fully see. You didn't imagine the shift. You're not crazy. You're not overly emotional. What you're sensing is real. Heaven has moved, and the change has already begun. My beloved, I know you've been second-guessing yourself lately, wondering if the things you're sensing, feeling, and picking up in your spirit are just wishful thinking, emotional highs, or some kind of fleeting hope. You've asked yourself quietly, am I just making this up? Am I being too sensitive again? And you feared sharing it with others because you thought they might not understand, or worse, that they'd dismiss it. But hear me now, you're not imagining it. You're not being overly emotional. You're not unstable. You are spiritually awake. You are deeply tuned to what most overlook. What you're sensing in this hour is not fiction. It is faith meeting reality. Heaven has moved, and the shift has already begun. The reason your spirit has felt unsettled, even in the midst of quiet, is because the earth is responding to the stirring in the heavenlies. What you're picking up on is not illusion. It's impartation. You feel it in your chest. You wake up with it lingering in your soul. It's the sense that something's different, even if you can't name it yet. That is not coincidence. That is confirmation. Because I've shifted things in your favor. I've initiated divine movement behind the veil. You may not see the full outcome yet, but the climate has changed. The weight is lifting. The old cycles are cracking. The delay has lost its grip. The atmosphere has been commanded to align with what I have declared over your life. And I know the enemy has tried to confuse you, feeding you doubt, whispering that nothing's changed, that you're just trying to hype yourself up. But I rebuke those lies now. I cancel every voice that contradicts my promise. Because what I've spoken is not hype. It's holy. And I've chosen to reveal it to you in layers. Not to tease you, but to train you. To help you recognize what heaven feels like when it begins to invade earth. You are not mistaken. The pressure you felt breaking is real. The newness that keeps brushing up against your spirit. It's not your imagination. It's me. You're sensing my footsteps as I come closer. You're perceiving the unfolding of what I've prepared. You are not losing your mind. You are finding your miracle. So lean into this shift. Speak it out loud. Declare it boldly. Live like it's already happening, because it is. Trust what you sense. Trust what your spirit knows, even if your mind can't explain it. You're not unstable. You're not emotional. You're prophetic. You've been marked to sense the tremors before the world feels the quake. The healing you've been receiving isn't just in your body or emotions. It's in your discernment. I'm sharpening your senses, heightening your awareness, aligning your perception. Because where I'm taking you next, you'll need to know the difference between a feeling and a holy prompting. And you, child, are already being trained by heaven itself. Don't shrink back. The shift is yours. Own it. Walk in it. Speak it. You're not crazy, you're chosen. You were never disqualified. The enemy tried to use your mistakes as proof you couldn't be healed, but I've already overruled every accusation. Child, come closer. I need you to hear this in the depths of your soul. You were never disqualified. Not for the healing. Not for the calling. Not for the restoration I'm pouring out. I saw it all. The choices you regret. The moments you want to erase. The times you let your pain speak louder than your faith. I was there when you ran. When you fell. When you almost gave up. And still, I stayed. Still, I chose you. Still, I whispered destiny over you. The enemy came quickly, like a thief in the night, throwing accusations like darts, hurling guilt like chains. He told you that your mistakes disqualified you, that your brokenness was your end. But I say to you now, with fire in my voice and love in my hands, I have already overruled every accusation. My blood speaks a better word, and that word is mercy. You see, the enemy is a legalist. He tries to twist the truth and weaponize your past as proof that you don't deserve healing. He points to every time you doubted, every sin you fell into, every word you spoke in anger or fear. But what he doesn't understand is that I don't base my promises on performance, I base them on covenant. And my covenant with you was never rooted in your perfection. It was rooted in my perfection. You could never disqualify yourself from a love you didn't qualify for in the first place. This healing, this redemption, this restoration, it's not a prize for the holy. It's a lifeline for the hurting. And I, the judge of all creation, have already slammed the gavel and declared, no condemnation, no disqualification, no delay. I didn't come looking for the best. I came for the willing. And even in your mess, you kept coming. Even when shame screamed, you still whispered my name. Even when you felt unworthy, you reached. And that reach was your yes. And that yes has activated angels. That yes has opened windows in heaven. That yes was all I needed to respond. I never asked you to be perfect, child. I only asked you to be honest. And your honesty has become the soil in which your healing now grows. What the enemy called disobedience, I've redeemed into depth. What he called broken, I've renamed beloved. And no accusation can change what I've decreed. So lift your head. Stand in grace. Walk forward with unshame. You are not the sum of your struggles. You are the fruit of my faithfulness. And I will not let your past be louder than your promise. I have canceled every whisper of unworthiness. I have silenced every spiritual indictment. This healing is yours, not because you never failed, but because I never did. Your mistakes don't disqualify you. They position you. They make room for my mercy to shine. And that mercy, it has already made you whole. You've wondered, what do I do now that I'm being healed? And I say, you live. Fully. Deeply. Unafraid. Because healing is not just the end of suffering. It's the beginning of freedom. My child, I've heard your unspoken question. The one that arises quietly in the aftermath of all I've begun to do in you. Now what? And now that I'm being healed, what comes next? There's a part of you that feels unsure, like a prisoner set free after years behind bars, standing at the edge of an open field, overwhelmed by possibility. I understand. You spent so long managing pain, surviving through brokenness, adapting to wounds you never asked for. So this healing, it feels strange. Beautiful, yes, but unfamiliar. You're used to waking up anticipating struggle, but now I'm teaching you to rise expecting life. And here is my answer to your question. You live, child. You live like the chains are really gone. Because they are. Healing is not a subtle whisper. It is a loud declaration from heaven that says, you are free to be who I made you to be. That means no more tiptoeing around dreams. No more apologizing for being vibrant. No more hiding your gifts because you're afraid they'll be misunderstood. Healing is the green light to thrive. To pursue the things I placed in your heart before pain tried to bury them. You've carried burdens for so long, but now I'm giving you permission to dance. To rest without guilt. To laugh until your soul echoes with joy. You are not obligated to sorrow anymore. The door of suffering has closed, and in its place, I've opened the window of freedom. Not just freedom from pain, but freedom for purpose, for expression, for legacy. You see, I didn't bring you through all this so you could return to a life of restriction. I didn't heal you so you could merely survive another year. I healed you so you could live on purpose. I have divine appointments waiting for you. Conversations that will carry my presence because you've walked through fire and now carry gold. I'm not just setting you free. I'm releasing you into fulfillment. And that means dreaming again. Building again. Creating with courage. Speaking with boldness. Loving with wide open arms. You will not live like a person tiptoeing through life anymore. You will walk like one who's tasted resurrection, because that's exactly what you've experienced. And resurrection doesn't whisper. It roars. So don't be afraid of the new. Don't be afraid of what you've never done before. I will walk with you into every open door. I'll whisper wisdom at every crossroad. You are not navigating the after-healing season alone. I am still with you. And what's ahead is holy. I have not just removed pain. I've made space for destiny. So live, child. And live fully. Deeply. Lovely. Beautifully. Because healing was never meant to be the finish line. It was always meant to be your starting gate. This healing wasn't random. It was scheduled. It was sacred. You've stepped into a divine appointment, and nothing will ever be the same again. Let me tell you something deeply true, child. Something that will settle every lingering doubt, every question still hanging in the air. This healing wasn't random. It didn't come by chance. It wasn't a coincidence, a fluke, or a lucky moment in your timeline. This healing was on my calendar. It was written in my book before you were even formed in your mother's womb. I scheduled this breakthrough down to the moment, down to the second, down to the breath. And heaven moved in alignment with that appointment. What you're experiencing now, the restoration, the freedom, the lifting, it's not spontaneous. It's sovereign. You see, every delay you faced wasn't a denial. It was preparation. I had to align the right time, the right place, and even the right maturity in your spirit to receive the fullness of what I wanted to release. Because this healing isn't surface level, it's generational. It's healing that touches your past and shapes your future. It's healing that breaks chains for your children and rewrites the story for those who come after you. This wasn't just about removing pain. It was about revealing promise. And now, you stand in the middle of that sacred intersection between what was and what is being birthed. This, beloved, is a divine appointment. Heaven's calendar has turned in your favor. And because this moment was marked by me, it cannot be undone. No devil can reverse it. No fear can block it. No voice of shame can distort it. You stepped into something that cannot be shaken, because I myself have established it. You are now walking in a new rhythm, a healed rhythm, a heaven-sent cadence where your steps are ordered, your voice is strengthened, your heart is whole, and your destiny is activated. You don't have to wonder if it's real. You don't have to second-guess what's happening. It's me. I've authored this moment. I've orchestrated this healing, and it is sealed by my word. So from this day forward, let everything in you rise with confidence. Let every corner of your soul come into agreement with what I've done. You are not who you were before this moment. Something has shifted. Permanently. Eternally. You've crossed over a line in the spirit, and nothing will ever be the same. This healing isn't just a blessing, it's a commissioning. You've been marked by heaven, set apart by my hand, and released into a new year of power, peace, and purpose. Never again will you wonder if I see you. Never again will you question if I hear. Because this, child, this healing, was my answer all along. And the moment you're standing in now, it's not just healing, it's holy. You've journeyed with me through the valleys and into the victory. You heard my voice. You felt my presence. And now I call you. Don't let the river stop with you. Healing has reached your house, and now I ask you to become the vessel through which I reach others. What you've received is a cure from heaven. Will you help me deliver it to the next soul crying out in silence? I say to you, those who sow with tears will reap with psalms of joy. Psalm 126:5. Let your giving be a prophetic act of obedience, a signal to heaven that says, "Send me, Lord. I'll carry the cure." Super thanks, membership, or a gift through PayPal. These are not just platforms, they are portals. Go now and give. Let your seed speak louder than your silence. Now, my beloved, if this word stirred something in your spirit, speak it out. Seal what I've released by declaring in the comments, "I receive the healing heaven sent for me." Let the enemy hear your voice. Let all of heaven echo with your agreement. This isn't just a video, it's a divine appointment. Don't scroll away silently. Respond like one who's been touched by glory. Your words carry weight, and as you declare it, healing will go deeper, wider, and further than you ever imagined. And as that declaration leaves your lips, know this: I am not responding to a stranger. I am not guessing at your need. The healing I release is precise because my knowledge of you is complete. Before you ever spoke, I saw the ache beneath the smile, the strain behind your strength, the burden you've learned to carry quietly. Stay here with me, because the one who heals you also knows you fully. My beloved child, I see you standing there, and I want you to know that I have not missed a single detail of your life. I see the anxiety that knots itself in the pit of your stomach when you think about tomorrow's impossible deadlines, or the pressure to keep everyone around you happy. I hear the questions whispered in the deep of the night when rest will not come, questions about whether your sacrifices mean anything and if you are truly worthy of my love. I feel the weight on your shoulders, that invisible, crushing burden you carry alone, the fear of failure, the unspoken tensions in your family, and the constant, gnawing feeling of being overlooked in a world that rushes past you. Bring all of that to me now, my child. Release it. I am your Creator, your Father in the heavens, and I am not a distant, passive observer. I am ever present, overflowing with compassion, and I see every single ounce of your suffering. I am here to tell you a truth so profound it will shatter the strongholds of despair that surround you. You are my cherished, uniquely created child. You are not a mistake. You are not an afterthought. You are a magnificent, purposeful creation, fashioned by my own hands and redeemed at an unthinkable cost. Recognize your inherent, immutable worth right now. Do not measure your value by the fleeting opinions of others or the temporary contents of your bank account. Your worth is anchored in my unending love for you, and that love is the strongest force in existence. Embrace this truth and reject every lie the adversary has tried to plant in your mind, every notion that you are less than my powerful and blessed heir. Listen closely, my beloved. Today, I bring you far more than just comfort. I introduce you to the core message that will transform your entire reality. A divine intervention is already active in your life. This is not a future promise. This is a present reality. The moment you first whispered my name, the movement began. Understand that the cure for all that ails you, the chronic anxiety, the spiritual weariness, the emotional wounds, the material lack, and even the physical sickness, is not a weak, temporary fix concocted by the world. This cure is not found in a pill, a person, or a promotion. It is not something you have to wait to purchase or earn. No, my child, the cure you need, the healing that is absolute, has been sent directly from my heavenly throne, and it is here for you now. I command you to come into a moment of stillness, right here, right now, wherever you are. Do not let the world's chaotic noise drown out my voice. Find a quiet pause, not of emptiness, but of expectant reception, much like the deep breath you take before you face a terrifying challenge. Breathe in my presence, and let the truth of this divine, supernatural healing sink into the deepest parts of your soul. Feel my love wrapping around you like the absolute warmth of the morning sun after a bitter, endless night. Recognize that my whisper, my intervention, is your light in the darkness, the truth that sets you free, and the strength that makes you invincible. You do not have to fight this battle on your own terms for one more moment. Surrender the burdens that feel too heavy to me, for I am here to take them. Let my authority, which calms raging seas and raises the dead, silence the fear that has tormented you. This cure is a direct deposit of my divine power into your life, and I am giving you the absolute assurance that it is yours. Accept this moment of divine intervention. Receive the peace that only I can offer. Understand this, my precious one. When I declare that a cure has been sent from heaven for you, I am speaking of an absolute, complete, and supremely encompassing remedy. This cure is an all-conquering solution. It is not merely for the visible ailment, the physical sickness, the job pressure, or the debt that haunts your sleep. My cure pierces far deeper than the surface. Define this cure in your spirit now as encompassing much more than simple earthly healing. It is spiritual, providing boundless peace, emotional, granting freedom from despair, and relational, mending broken ties. This is an overwhelming intervention designed to restore every dimension of your shattered existence to my original, perfect blueprint. I want to be perfectly clear about the substance of this mighty cure. It is embodied completely, fully, and eternally in my Son, Jesus Christ, your ultimate, divine physician. He is the living medicinal substance, the antidote to spiritual death, the only remedy potent enough to heal the human soul, which is the very core of your being. This is the irrefutable, central truth of your existence. My Son is your salvation, your strength, and your life. Cling to him, my child. He is the anchoring truth in the chaos of your days. Now, pause and consider the immense, breathtaking cost of this gift. This cure was not a casual transaction. Detail the cost in your heart now. It was paid for with his sacrifice, his perfect obedience, his boundless love, and the ultimate act of redemption upon the cross. Do you truly grasp this? He endured the wounds to heal your wounds. He took the totality of your sins and mistakes, every regret, every failure, every broken promise, and buried them in the grave, rising with absolute authority to give you new life. This sacrifice is the foundational bedrock of your healing. You have sought earthly remedies for so long, haven't you? You've chased temporary relief in comfort, distraction, or endless striving, fleeting, shallow solutions that always fail and eventually lead to sorrow and ruin. Contrast those temporary, exhausting remedies with my eternal, complete, and unceasing solution. Earthly cures merely mask the disease. My heavenly cure eradicates the very roots of suffering, promising a hope that transcends the grave. Do not waste another moment pursuing the fleeting shadows. Therefore, my precious one, understand this most glorious of truths. The cure is an absolute gift of grace, freely given and utterly unearned. You could spend a lifetime, or 10 lifetimes, trying to be good enough, perfect enough, or worthy enough to receive it, but your efforts would be futile. Stop striving now. Stop trying to pay a price that has already been settled in full. My grace is poured out upon you not because of what you have done, or what you promised to do, but purely because of my immutable, merciful nature. It is a torrent of my love that washes over your entire life, making you whole simply because I choose to. Receive this grace now. It is your ultimate liberation. My promise to you is that this potent remedy is available now, this very moment, not only in some distant, uncertain future. This cure is not a mere possibility. It is an active force, ready to manifest physically, emotionally, and spiritually in your reality. Step into this present truth. Declare it with confidence. You are not waiting for me to move. I am waiting for you to simply believe, to trust, and to open your hands to receive the eternal life and complete healing I offer you today. Acknowledge the authority of my Son and accept your immediate, comprehensive cure. My child, let me deepen your understanding of my role, not merely as your father but as the divine architect of your perfect, absolute well-being. I am the genesis of all wholeness, the one who stitched you together in your mother's womb with purposeful intention. Every fiber of your being, your spirit, your soul, your mind, your body, was designed by me for absolute flourishing. I am the author of your life, the master builder who alone knows the precise plans and specifications for your total health and prosperity. Trust the architect. Stop letting other, lesser designers try to dictate your fate. Account in your mind now the profound evidence of my power. Reflect on the miracles as unshakable proof of the power resident in this heavenly cure. The blind saw, the lame walked, the deaf heard, and the dead breathed new life simply at the sound of my Son's commanding voice. You must realize that the power that created the universe and performed those miracles resides in the very cure I have sent you. That same power is present right now, ready to move mountains of doubt and disease in your life. Let this truth demolish your skepticism. Fix your heart on the absolute authority of my Son, for true healing begins at the root, and the root of all human suffering is separation from me. He alone possesses the sovereign, divine authority to forgive sins, which is the absolute, foundational root of your most profound healing. Until that wound is healed, every other remedy is a fruitless pursuit. My cure, through him, grants you total pardon and peace, removing the disgrace and restoring your dignity. Accept this profound cleansing. It is your spiritual liberation. My child, you constantly try to navigate your complexities with your own finite, often flawed understanding. Stop straining. I want you to illustrate in your actions how my wisdom is the true guide to wellness. Remember my enduring word. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to him, and he will make your paths straight. My wisdom is a perfect map, a sure footing for your journey. It guides you away from the pitfalls and toward the abundance I have prepared. Surrender your roadmap and follow mine. Declare this powerful truth over your life. No illness, no wound, no brokenness you face is too vast, too deeply rooted, or too complex for my touch. Whether it is the crippling grip of anxiety, the lingering residue of past trauma, or a persistent sickness that mocks your strength, my power is infinitely greater. I am the God who handles the impossible. Stop believing the lie that your problem is the exception, the one thing my power cannot touch. Challenge that lie with my limitless strength. Therefore, my precious one, I reiterate the absolute promise of restoration and total renewal that comes through my name. I will mend the shattered pieces of your heart, restore the health that has been stolen, and renew your spirit until you are more vibrant than you were before. You will become a living, breathing testimony of my healing power, a monument of my grace for the world to witness. Stand firm on this promise of renewal, and watch me make all things new. My child, having received the truth of the cure, you must now understand the necessary action on your part. I have completed my work. Now, you must simply activate the gift. I define this action for you as faith, the required, single act that unlocks and applies the heavenly cure to your earthly circumstances. Faith is the sacred ignition switch that sets my divine intervention into motion. Without it, you are like a mighty Ferrari driving with the handbrake on, powerful, but self-limiting. Release the handbrake now. Grasp this glorious concept. Faith is nothing more or less than the sacred, total transfer of your burden from your insufficient shoulders to my infinitely capable ones. That relentless worry, that gnawing fear about provision, that crippling doubt about your worth, all of it is meant to be transferred to me. You are not required to generate immense strength or produce a miracle yourself. Your only job is to perform the transfer. Let go of the heavy load. Cast all your cares upon me, your ever-present Father, because I care profoundly and continuously for you. I call you now to reflect on the unforgettable proofs of history. Recall the scriptural examples of great faith leading to immediate, undeniable healing and deliverance. A woman who merely touched the hem of my garment found wholeness. The centurion whose simple declaration of belief healed his servant from afar. These were not grand spectacles, they were singular acts of simple trust. Their faith, no matter how small, even the size of a tiny mustard seed, was enough to move the mountains of their despair and sickness. Emulate that simple, reckless trust now, Therefore I instruct you, you must speak your belief. It is not enough for this truth to remain a silent thought in your mind. I command you to engage in verbal warfare with the enemy of your soul. Confess my power over your immediate situation right now. Speak life where you see death. Speak health where you feel sickness. Speak abundance where you see lack. Your voice, when aligned with my word, becomes a weapon, a two-edged sword that cuts through the lies of the enemy and carves out a new reality for you. Declare your victory aloud. Address the concept of doubt as the most crippling enemy of your faith. Doubt is the malicious whisper of the enemy, the insidious voice that seeks to rob you of your peace and your blessing. I instruct you to cast it away, to recognize it as a hostile intrusion in my presence. Doubt will dissipate when confronted with the light of my truth. Focus not on the size of your problem, but on the absolute, unshakable immensity of my power. Silence the internal critic. My child, I call you to a persistent, unwavering belief, especially, when the manifestations of the cure are not yet visible to your eyes. Faith is the unwavering certainty in what you cannot yet see. Do not waver in the waiting, for my timing is impeccable, never too late or too soon. The process of character refinement is just as vital as the final outcome. Hold the line in faith, and you will witness the supernatural unfold in your life. My beloved, I know that the deepest, most searing pain you carry is often internal, the silent, unseen wounds of regret, the crushing weight of shame, and the lingering shadow of past trauma. I see the heavy loads you have carried for so long, the self-condemnation that has chained you to the past. I want you to know that I have come to address this primary source of suffering. Unburden your soul now. Lay those heavy loads at my feet. I present the heavenly cure as the divine balm for your conscience, providing you with absolute, complete, and true forgiveness. This is not a partial pardon or a temporary reprieve. It is a profound act of cleansing and reconciliation that wipes your slate entirely clean. I want you to feel the weight of my grace right now, releasing you from the self-imposed prison of your past failures. Accept my forgiveness and allow it to penetrate the deepest recesses of your spirit. Understand the powerful metaphor of cleansing that my Son achieved. His sacrifice cleanses you and makes your soul whiter than snow, purer than any substance known to humanity. Imagine your shame and guilt dissolving instantly into nothingness. You are not stained, you are sanctified. You are not condemned, you are cherished. I have taken your filthy garments and replaced them with the robes of righteousness. Embrace this spotless identity. As a result of this cure, I give you a peace that surpasses all understanding, a spiritual tranquility that the world cannot offer and cannot take away. This is the profound stillness of a soul reconciled and utterly secure in my presence. This peace is your constant companion, your shield against the relentless turmoil of life. Do not just seek peace. Receive this active, transformative tranquility now. My child, you constantly struggle with self-forgiveness, which is often the final chain the enemy uses to bind you. I command you now, under my absolute authority, forgive yourself. If I, your eternal, holy God, have forgiven you and chosen to remember your sins no more, who are you to cling to them? Do not insult the absolute power of my sacrifice by prioritizing your regret over my grace. Declare your freedom from self-condemnation. I affirm to you the ultimate truth of my redemption. I promise the complete, absolute removal of the memory of your sin, as far as the east is from the west. Your past mistakes are not simply covered, they are gone. They hold no power, no claim, and no relevance over your glorious future in me. Look forward now, my heir, and walk into the lightness of eternal freedom. Pause now, my heir. You have received the forgiveness that cleanses your soul whiter than snow. To stop here, to let the world's chaos drown out the rest of my plan, would be to grieve the very spirit I placed within you. Would you walk away from the full promise of healing and allow the shadows of your past to creep back in? No, I forbid you this retreat. The Master Physician has only just begun his work. Honor my commitment with your attention, and do not break my heart by returning to despair. Continue, for your ultimate freedom awaits. My child, I know the raw, sharp pain that resides in your heart, the deep hurt of loss, the shock of disappointment, the searing wound of betrayal by those you loved and trusted most. You feel the sharp, shattered pieces of your expectation and trust. I see every tear you have shed in secret, and not one has fallen unnoticed or been forgotten. I want you to understand that my cure is powerfully designed for the mending of your heart. Bring those broken fragments to me now. Declare me as the divine potter, the only one who can truly reshape and mend the shattered pieces of your soul and existence. Your heart is not beyond repair. Your life is not beyond restoration. I will take the very dust of your despair and fashion something beautiful and strong, turning your ashes into eternal beauty. Surrender the broken vessel to my tender, healing hands. I offer the most potent part of the cure, the replacement of bitterness, resentment, and unforgiveness with my divine, all-consuming love. Bitterness is a spiritual poison that blocks the flow of my healing life in you. My love, when poured into your heart, acts as a spiritual solvent, dissolving the resentment that binds you and freeing you to live in radical peace. Receive this powerful, transformative love now. I command you to lay your broken heart at the foot of the cross. Look at the ultimate sacrifice made for you, and realize that the one who endured that pain understands yours perfectly. This is the place of profound surrender and eternal exchange, your pain for my peace, your sorrow for my joy, your weakness for my strength. Do not delay this life-changing surrender. I affirm my unending promise to comfort all who mourn and to provide you with eternal, unshakable hope. Your weeping is temporary, but my joy is your permanent inheritance. I will gather your tears and transform your sorrows into songs of irresistible delight. Rest in this divine certainty, for your mourning is reaching its end. Finally, I instruct you to find your unshakable strength in communion with my Holy Spirit. He is your constant comforter, your guide, and your inexhaustible wellspring of renewal. When the pain threatens to overwhelm you, call upon him. He will fortify your spirit, steady your mind, and gently remind you that you are my deeply cherished child. Open your heart and invite his supernatural strength to flood your soul now. My beloved child, I see the confusion in your eyes, the profound lack of purpose, and the unsettling feeling of being utterly lost in a world that offers countless paths but no true destination. This is the condition of spiritual blindness, and I have sent my cure specifically to pierce this darkness and give you perfect clarity. You are desperately searching for a map in the blackness, exhausting yourself in directions that lead only to futility. Stop straining and come to my light. I present my word, the Holy Scripture, as the only light and the infallible map for your soul's journey. It is the medicinal substance of the cure, the absolute truth that reveals my will and guides your steps. It is the unwavering lantern that illuminates the treacherous path ahead and keeps you from stumbling into the enemy's traps. Ingest this divine truth daily. It is your ultimate vision correction. The essence of the cure is that it miraculously opens the eyes of your heart to discern spiritual truth, the truth about me, the truth about yourself, and the truth about your destiny. This is not mere intellectual knowledge. It is a profound, supernatural insight that allows you to see beyond the temporary, fear-inducing circumstances and recognize my sovereign plan at work. Pray now for this divine perspective, that your spiritual sight may be made whole. I offer my Holy Spirit not just as a presence, but as your ever-present guide and counselor to navigate the terrifying complexities of your life. He is the one who translates my eternal wisdom into your daily reality, showing you the right path when you are paralyzed by difficult choices. Listen to his gentle, infallible leading, for he knows the way through the wilderness. I command you to surrender your own limited, flawed understanding for my infinite, perfect plan. You strive constantly to control outcomes, which only brings tension and anguish. Release the grip of self-reliance now. My plans for you are filled with unfolding purpose and absolute hope, designed for your total well-being and not for harm. Trust the divine architect implicitly. Finally, I affirm my promise to give you a clarity and divine perspective that this tumultuous world can never offer or steal. You will walk with a sense of certainty, boldness, and unshakable confidence, knowing exactly who you are, whose you are, and where you are going. Embrace this new vision, my child, and walk forward in the absolute light of your destiny. My child, I acknowledge the grim reality of spiritual death, the profound separation from me that manifests as emptiness, despair, and a gnawing sense of futility. That is the true sickness of humanity, the absence of the life force that only I can provide. You have walked in that shadow, felt the coldness of a life disconnected from its divine source, and known the exhaustion of trying to fill a spiritual void with material things. It is a state of being lost and powerless, a life operating far below the glory for which you were created. Stop settling for mere existence. I did not intend for my masterpiece to be a shadow of its potential. I fashioned you for abundance and eternal connection. I present the core of my cure as the new birth and the irresistible, transforming indwelling of my Holy Spirit. This is the moment of your spiritual resurrection, the breath of divine life breathed directly back into your soul. It is a miracle that transcends biology and philosophy. It is a profound, irreversible shift in your eternal destiny. The new birth is the divine guarantee that the chains of your past have been shattered, and the power of sin has been broken. When you chose to believe, I chose to make my home in you, and my spirit became your constant, unshakable companion. Welcome this radical transformation now. Open every room of your heart to the presence of the Holy Spirit, for He is your life, your strength, and your truth. Understand the magnitude of this shift, my heir. You are being transformed from a fleeting, fragile creature of the world, bound by its fears and limitations, to an eternal, powerful child of my kingdom. This is not a slight change of clothes or a minor adjustment. This is a total renovation of your identity, your core essence, and your spiritual DNA. The old things are truly passed away, and behold, all things have become new. You are no longer defined by your failures, your circumstances, or the labels that others try to place upon you. You are defined only by my boundless, unconditional love and the absolute power of my Spirit residing within you. Embrace your royal, unshakable identity. Step into your destiny as a co-heir with Christ, a beacon of my light in a darkened world. I want you to see and feel the undeniable evidence of this new life manifesting in your daily reality. I call this the fruit of the Spirit, and it is the beautiful, tangible proof of my cure at work within you. Look for the deliberate manifestation of love that flows effortlessly from your heart, the unshakable joy that endures even in the middle of tribulation, the profound peace that silences chaos, and the patience that allows you to wait confidently on my timing. Watch for the kindness you extend to a stranger, the goodness you show to an adversary, the unwavering faithfulness you demonstrate, and the gentleness and self-control that keep you from reacting to the world's provocations. These are the sacred blossoms of your resurrection power. Cultivate these fruits, my beloved, for they are the harvest of your new life. I affirm to you this glorious truth. Your new identity is that of a co-heir with my Son, Christ Jesus. Everything that belongs to him is now accessible to you. You are part of my eternal, indestructible family. This inheritance is not a distant, future promise. It is a present reality, providing you with all the spiritual resources you need to triumph over every earthly challenge. You walk in his authority, speak with his power, and are shielded by his grace. Do not live as a pauper when you have been crowned as royalty. Reject the scarcity mindset and claim the abundance of your divine inheritance. Therefore, I instruct you now to walk daily in this newfound resurrection power. This means deliberate, moment-by-moment activation of the Holy Spirit's presence in your life. Do not rely on your old, limited strength. Draw directly from my inexhaustible well. When anxiety tries to grip you, call upon the Spirit of peace. When temptation comes, lean into the spirit of self-control. This resurrection power is your daily fuel and your ultimate defense. It allows you to move mountains, overcome obstacles, and live a life marked by extraordinary, supernatural victory. Walk forward with the unstoppable confidence of my resurrected Son, for you are empowered by his life. My child, I acknowledge the persistent, relentless nature of your earthly anxiety, the heavy cloak of worry that you pull over yourself, agonizing over the complexities of the future, the stability of your provision, and the security of your family's safety. I see the knots in your stomach when the bills arrive, the fear in your eyes when the world's news becomes chaotic, and the weariness in your soul from constantly trying to calculate and control outcomes that are infinitely beyond your grasp. That tension and fear are not from me. They are the adversary's attempts to steal your peace and productivity. Unclasp your hands from the reins of control. I remind you now of the absolute, unshakable reality of my sovereign control over all creation, over the cosmos, and most intimately, over your single, beloved life. I am the God who measures the oceans in the hollow of my hand and calls every star by its name. Do you truly believe that I, with such infinite power, would overlook the small, fragile details of your daily existence? Your worries are an insult to my sovereignty, my love, and my capability. Challenge your fear with the majesty of my power. When worry comes, substitute it instantly with the image of my eternal, unfailing hand holding your entire life secure. I offer you the cure for this relentless anxiety as perfect trust, which is the total act of casting all your cares upon me. Look at my promise in my word. Cast all your anxiety on him because he cares for you. This is not a suggestion, my child. It is a divine directive and a glorious invitation. I want your burdens. I want your sleepless nights. I want your fear of the future. Why do you struggle to carry a weight that I am infinitely prepared and eager to bear for you? Perform this spiritual transfer now, and feel the immediate lightness of my yoke. I command you to shift your focus. Stop worrying about tomorrow's insurmountable problems and concentrate fully on today's blessings and my present sufficiency. Tomorrow's troubles have enough worry of their own. I promise to meet your needs perfectly in this very 24-hour cycle. When you obsess over an uncertain future, you lose the opportunity to experience the abundant grace I have poured out for the now. Look around you. Name 3 blessings you have right this moment. Focus your energy on gratitude for the sufficiency of today, and the fear of tomorrow will lose its power. Contrast the temporary, fragile security of earthly wealth, which can vanish in a single economic shift, with the eternal, absolute surety of being held in my unchangeable care. Material possessions and financial stability are merely tools for your journey, not the foundation of your peace. When you make them your security, You are building your house upon shifting sand. But when you root your trust in me, the everlasting rock, you find a security that defies recessions, health crises, and job losses. Choose the eternal surety over the temporary illusion. I urge you to adopt the ultimate strategy for provision, which is to seek my kingdom and my righteousness first, with absolute confidence that every one of your earthly needs will be met perfectly and precisely. I know what you need before you even whisper the request. I know the price of the food, the cost of the medicine, and the due date of the rent. When you prioritize me, you activate a spiritual law that unleashes my boundless provision into your life, satisfying every need according to my riches in glory. Make me your singular priority and watch my abundance unfold. My child, I want you to understand that my cure is not designed to be a solitary experience. It is meant to be shared, amplified, and experienced within the context of my divine family, the Church, the body of Christ. Isolation is the greatest strategy of the adversary, the quiet prison where he can whisper his lies of doubt and despair without contradiction. You cannot remain in that solitary confinement and expect the cure to reach its full, powerful effect. Break the chains of isolation now. I describe my church as the hands and feet that administer my earthly comfort, the physical presence of my grace in a broken world. This is where the practical, tangible application of the cure takes place. When a brother lifts your burden, it is my hand lifting you. When a sister speaks a word of healing, it is my spirit speaking through her. You are not just a recipient, you are a vital artery in this body, necessary for the health of the whole. Step into this living, breathing body of healing. Therefore, I command you to embrace the essential importance of confession, unified prayer, and bearing one another's burdens. When you confess your failures and struggles to a trusted, faith-filled confidant, you disarm the enemy and bring your hidden pain into my light, where healing is inevitable. When you pray in agreement, you activate a powerful, multiplying force that moves heaven on behalf of the afflicted. Find a kindred spirit and share your burden. Do not wait until you are perfect to seek communion. My body is where the broken come to be mended. I affirm this truth. Genuine, faith-filled fellowship profoundly accelerates the process of your personal healing. When you are weak, the strength of the community covers you. When your faith wavers, the rock-solid belief of others upholds you. This is the spiritual synergy that multiplies the power of my cure in your life. It keeps you accountable, inspired, and perpetually reminded of your new identity as my triumphant child. Invest in relationships that anchor your faith. I warn you, my beloved, against the deadly poison of spiritual isolation, which provides the most fertile foothold for the enemy to plant seeds of doubt, despair, and deception. When you withdraw, you make yourself an easy target, convincing yourself that no one understands or cares. This is a profound lie designed to halt the flow of your healing. Flee from the temptation of self-pity and seclusion. Run toward the light of fellowship, where you will find strength, support, and profound acceptance. My ultimate call is for you to become a powerful conduit of the cure to others in need. Your healing is not just for you. It is a story, a tool, and a testimony that I intend to use to bring light into the darkness of someone else's life. As you receive the cure, you must flow it out. As you pour out my love, your own vessel is replenished and purified. Turn your past pain into present purpose. Seek out the broken, the lonely, and the struggling, and share the truth of the divine, all-encompassing cure you have received. Stop, my vessel. I have unveiled the truth of your strength found only in my body, the Church. You are a vital artery, and if you cease listening now, you break the vital flow not only to your own healing, but to the brother, or sister I intend to reach through your completed story. Do not disappoint my plan for the world. Do not let the adversary win this battle for your focus. Your perseverance is a testimony. I am calling you to finish this divine encounter. Continue now, for the full measure of your peace is revealed in the next breath. My child, you have just grasped the immense multiplication power of my divine community. And now, I give you a command. Do not let this living water stop flowing here. This cure, this truth, is the very light that breaks the spiritual blindness of millions still lost in the wilderness. I remind you of my eternal law. He who sows sparingly will also reap sparingly. Your willingness to support this message is the seed of my kingdom, the oil that keeps this beacon burning bright in the darkness. This is your divine appointment to partner with the cure. I promise you, I will open the windows of heaven and pour out such blessing that your own vessel will overflow. Act now, my generous one. Plant your seed, and watch my mighty harvest begin. My child, I see the moments of spiritual exhaustion, the times when the desire to simply give up becomes an overwhelming weight, and your spirit feels faint, weak, and utterly incapable of taking one more step in the long race of faith. You feel the weariness deep in your bones, convinced that your meager strength is finally depleted. I acknowledge the reality of this exhaustion, but I forbid you to surrender. Do not let weariness anchor your destiny. I declare this powerful, counterintuitive truth. My grace is absolutely sufficient for you, and my strength is made perfectly manifest in your deepest weakness. Your weakness is not a failure, it is the wide-open portal through which my limitless power can finally flow. Stop pretending you are strong enough on your own. When you reach the absolute end of your limited human power, that is precisely where my divine power begins, ready to rush in and carry you. Confess your weakness now, and claim my perfect strength. I offer the cure for the fainting spirit as divine endurance and supernatural refreshment for your soul. This is not just a quick boost of energy, it is the deep, abiding sustenance that allows you to run without growing weary and to walk without fainting. This endurance is a gift to the Holy Spirit, preparing you for the long race by anchoring you in the eternal finish line. Drink deeply from this wellspring of spiritual strength. I remind you of the essential truth that the race of faith is not run by your own limited, fragile power, but by the unstoppable, unwavering might of my Spirit within you. Stop relying on your fleeting motivation or your emotional peaks. Rely only on the steadfastness of my promise and the power of the indwelling Spirit. This race requires persistence, not perfection, and I will be your pacemaker, your fuel, and your constant, guiding light. Fix your eyes on the prize, not the difficulty of the path. I command you to draw your strength directly and immediately from the wellspring of my presence through consistent, heart-filled prayer. When you feel the weight of defeat, do not look inward. Look upward. Prayer is your lifeline, your spiritual intravenous drip, constantly supplying you with the power you need to persist. Engage in this necessary spiritual discipline. Seek me in the quiet, and I will meet your depletion with my inexhaustible supply. Finally, I affirm my promise of the ultimate, glorious reward and the eternal crown that awaits every soul who perseveres to the absolute end. This is the truth that must anchor your endurance. Every tear, every moment of weakness, every battle fought in faith will be eternally rewarded. Let the certainty of that magnificent future propel you forward now, my champion. My child, you must understand that the divine cure is not a vague, emotional feeling. It has a tangible, medicinal substance, and that substance is my holy scripture, my word. I describe my word as the very medicinal substance of the heavenly cure, the absolute, incorruptible truth that brings light, life, and healing to every aspect of your being. It is the infallible, written revelation of my perfect will and my unfailing promises for your life. When you hold my word, you are holding the power that spoke the universe into existence, and that power is directed toward your healing and deliverance. Grasp this truth now with conviction. Do not treat my word as a common book. Treat it as the very spiritual blueprint for your transformation. I want you to see my word not as dusty history, but as living and active, possessing a cutting power far sharper than any two-edged sword. It is the relentless surgeon that skillfully discerns the deepest intentions of your heart, cutting away the malignancy of doubt, fear, and sin. This word, when believed and applied, has the power to heal your body, restore your mind, and provide for your every need. Challenge the darkness with this invincible weapon. When lies try to take root in your thoughts, strike back instantly with the clear, undeniable truth of my promises. For my word is the light that will expose every shadow. Therefore, I instruct you now. You must ingest my word daily for spiritual nourishment. You wouldn't skip physical meals and expect to maintain strength, so why do you starve your eternal spirit? Treat my word as the essential sustenance for your soul, the bread of life that sustains you through the wilderness. Read it, study it, chew on it, and let it become the absolute framework of your thought life. This daily ingestion builds your faith, stabilizes your emotions, and fortifies your will against the enemy's constant barrage of lies and accusations. Do not let your soul go hungry for another day. Make the time, clear the space, and feed your spirit with the eternal truth that will bring you wholeness. I explain how the practice of meditating deeply on my promises, mulling them over until they sink into the marrow of your being, brings profound peace and unerring direction. When fear of the future tries to paralyze you, focus your mind on my promise to prosper you and never to harm you. When lack seems overwhelming, meditate on my promise as your provider who supplies all needs. This meditative focus is the antidote to the anxiety that plagues you, shifting your attention from the temporary, overwhelming problems to the eternal, absolute power of my person. Anchor your mind in my truth, and watch the waves of worry subside. I affirm the irrefutable truth that my word, once spoken, will not return to me void. It will accomplish the precise purpose for which I send it into your life. Every single promise of healing, provision, forgiveness, and freedom is backed by my unwavering, absolute integrity. You can rely on my word with greater certainty than you rely on the sun to rise, for the heavens and the earth may pass away, but my word remains forever. Stand firmly on this divine guarantee, for it is your rock. Doubt is a choice, and I command you to choose the unshakable reality of my spoken promise. Finally, I encourage the deliberate, systematic memorization of verses that explicitly declare health, divine provision, and victory over the enemy. These verses become the spiritual ammunition you need in the heat of battle, the immediate truth you deploy against temptation and anxiety. When the enemy attacks, you must have my sword ready in your mouth. Make my promise the absolute, automatic response of your mind and heart. You will see how this discipline transforms your entire spiritual landscape, leading you from fear to boundless, absolute faith. This part of the cure is vital, my child. It is the personal application that leads to your triumphant deliverance. Take this living medicine now, and be made whole. My precious child, I see the silent struggle you endure, the hidden shame of chains and destructive habits that hold your spirit captive, whispering lies of defeat and worthlessness. You wrestle in the dark with addictions and bondages that feel far stronger than your own will. I understand the exhaustion, the guilt of repeated failures, and the belief that you are simply too weak to ever be free. Stop fighting this fierce battle alone. I declare the ultimate truth. My son came for this very purpose, to set the captives absolutely free, He did not just come to heal the sick. He came to break the unbreakable, to liberate the enslaved, and to restore the dignity of those held in spiritual prisons. The power that broke the seal of the tomb is the same power I have deposited within you to break every single chain that binds you. Your bondage is not permanent. Your freedom is guaranteed by my Son's victory. Claim your liberation now, for the price has been paid in full. I present the irresistible core of the cure for addiction as the unfailing, absolute power of the Holy Spirit. He is the living fire that utterly consumes the yokes of bondage. You tried to fight this using only your limited, fragile willpower, and that is why you failed. You cannot defeat an invisible, powerful enemy with visible, weak effort. You must invoke my Spirit, who is infinitely mightier than any compulsion, any desire, or any chain of habit that holds you. Lean into the Spirit's power and watch every stronghold crumble. He brings clarity, insight, and confidence where confusion and insecurity once dwelled. I instruct you now on the necessity of total, radical surrender and the immediate confession of your desperate need for my help. You must stop pretending you can manage this on your own. Surrender is not weakness. It is the highest act of spiritual warfare, shifting the battle from your fragile will to my limitless might. Confess your struggle to a trusted brother or sister in Christ, and let the light of accountability shine on the darkness of your addiction. Step out of the shadows and find healing in the light of my truth. I affirm your unshakable authority in Christ to resist every temptation and to repel the evil that seeks to ensnare you. You are no longer a slave to sin. You are a child of my kingdom, endowed with the power to say no to the very thing that once controlled you. When temptation arises, do not negotiate. Stand firm. Wield the sword of my word and declare the victory already secured by my Son. Walk now in the profound confidence of your divine authority. I promise you the absolute strength to walk in freedom and to maintain relentless vigilance against relapse. This vigilance is your daily defense against the adversary, who seeks to devour you. Your freedom is not the end of the journey. It is the glorious beginning of a walk in victory and holiness. I will provide you with the wisdom, the resources, and the community you need to stand firm. Keep your eyes fixed on me, your great deliverer, and walk forward in the permanent reality of your liberation. Your life will be so rich and fulfilling that you will never look back at the poverty of your past bondage. My beloved child, I want you to see prayer not as a mere chore or a last resort, but as the absolute, direct teleportation line to the source of the cure itself. Prayer is your unfettered, immediate access to my throne, where grace, help, and healing are dispensed without measure. Why do you wander so long in the wilderness of worry when you have instant communication with a God who holds all power? Engage this line now, and bypass the limitations of your earthly circumstances. Stop feeling like you have to shout. I hear your deepest, silent whispers. I describe the posture of a surrendered heart as the absolute key that unlocks the door to powerful, effective petition. When you come to me on your knees, not demanding, but humbly seeking my will, you are operating in the highest form of spiritual power. Surrender removes the malignancy of self-will and aligns your fragile desire with my perfect, eternal purpose for your life. Practice this surrender daily and witness the immediate elevation of your spirit. Your prayers are beautiful to me, rising like sacred incense before my throne. Therefore, I instruct you now on the vital necessity of praying according to my will, aligning your finite, earthly desires with my infinite, perfect plan. Do not try to bend my will to your wants. Instead, let my word transform your wants into my will. When you pray in alignment with my absolute truth, your prayers become irresistible, absolute forces that move heaven and earth on your behalf. Study my word to know my will, and then pray with unshakable certainty. I explain the multiplying, absolute power of unified, persistent, and specific prayer. Do not rely on one weak, vague whisper. Engage in persistent, relentless communication. Be specific about your needs, asking for the exact miracle you require. Find a faith-filled partner to agree with you, for where 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, my power is present to heal and deliver. Practice this spiritual synergy and multiply your power exponentially. I affirm the most glorious, unbreakable promise of the cure. When you ask in faith, you shall receive. This is not a conditional maybe, it is a divine decree. If the miracle you seek is aligned with my loving will for your abundant life, then I command you to believe it is already yours. Your faith is the absolute key that unlocks the door to wonders. Believe and receive your cure now. My call is for you to embrace constant, relentless communication with me, making prayer the very rhythm and breath of your life. Do not relegate prayer to moments of crisis, make it a perpetual state of being. This intimacy is the deepest, most cherished expression of your reliance on me, and it is the absolute guarantee that the cure will remain powerfully active in your soul. Breathe in my presence and let your life become a continuous, powerful prayer. My child, I must reveal a critical truth about the flow of my heavenly cure. Holding on to bitterness, resentment, and unforgiveness creates a spiritual dam that blocks the flow of my cure in your own life. That resentment you harbor is not a punishment for your enemy. It is a self-inflicted prison that binds your spirit, making true peace and deep healing impossible. You must stop poisoning your own well. Bitterness is a spiritual poison that blocks the flow of my life in you. I describe the powerful, divine act of forgiveness of others as the act that releases the prisoner, and that prisoner is always you. When you refuse to forgive, you are willingly holding on to the toxic substance of past pain, allowing it to define your present and darken your future. Forgiveness is the ultimate act of spiritual emancipation, cutting the emotional cord that links your destiny to the failures and misdeeds of those who harmed you. Engage in this necessary release now, and sever the ties that bind you to the past. I instruct you, my child, to engage in the radical, supernatural act of praying sincerely for your enemies and those who have deeply hurt you. This is the undeniable, absolute proof that my cure is working in your heart, replacing human vengeance with my divine, relentless love. When you bless those who cursed you, you are walking in the supreme authority of my Son, and that action unleashes a profound, immediate healing in your own soul. Do not let them steal your blessing. Release them and receive your reward. I remind you of the irrefutable standard of your own salvation. I first forgave you, completely and eternally, while you were still operating as my enemy, a sinner. Your own forgiveness was a costly, unearned gift. Therefore, you have no right to withhold the same grace from another limited, flawed human being. Let my boundless love for you become the standard for your love for others. I affirm to you that the absolute ability to forgive is a profound, supernatural gift, an undeniable part of the cure's transformative effect in your life. This is not a human effort. It is a divine power that I pour into your heart. You cannot generate this capacity on your own, but you can choose to receive it from me. Choose to be a vessel of my divine love and mercy now. I promise you the most profound, immediate emotional release and freedom the moment you genuinely release the hurt to me. The heavy burden of resentment will instantly lift from your shoulders. You will experience a sudden, magnificent influx of peace and joy, realizing that your freedom was always dependent on your choice to forgive. Choose freedom, my child, and be unburdened forever. Halt, my beloved. You have conquered the chains of unforgiveness and claimed the profound peace that only I can give. This spiritual lightness is a gift, and to disregard the remaining steps of the cure would be to insult the boundless grace that has delivered you. I have invested my full heart in your wholeness. Would you treat my commitment as a casual thing? No more delay. I demand your absolute, unwavering focus. Continue, my conqueror, for the final, greatest truths of your eternal victory are breaking forth in the light. My child, I know the challenge that weighs heavily upon your spirit right now, the relentless, agonizing difficulty of the delay between your heartfelt petition and the visible manifestation of the miracle you seek. You look at the calendar, you measure the time, and you begin to whisper the doubts. Did I ask incorrectly? Did my Father forget me? Is this blessing truly meant for me? That period of waiting, that gap between the promise and the reality, is one of the enemy's most effective battlegrounds. He seeks to use that waiting time to steal your hope and derail your faith. Stop calculating the delay. I command you to shift your focus from the hands of the clock to the steadfastness of my eternal person. I define the virtue of patience as a vital, absolutely non-negotiable component of the divine waiting period. Patience is not passive resignation. It is an active, armed hope, the spiritual discipline of trusting my flawless timing even when your circumstances scream for immediate intervention. It is the unshakable certainty that what I have spoken will absolutely come to pass. Patience is the spiritual muscle that I am deliberately developing in you during this waiting time. This process is transforming you, moving you beyond the impatience of your own will into the confidence of my divine will. Embrace this period of spiritual forging. Understand that those who wait on me shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like eagles. Your weariness will be exchanged for my supernatural vigor. I explain this profound truth. My timing is always flawlessly perfect, designed not just for your comfort, but for the greatest possible spiritual growth and the most magnificent demonstration of my glory. If I gave you the miracle the moment you asked, your faith might rely on the speed of the answer rather than the character of the giver. The process of waiting is precisely where unwavering character is forged, where your trust becomes rooted deeply in me, allowing you to flourish even in the desert, like a tree planted by streams of water. This delay is not my denial, it is my preparation, preparing the miracle for you and preparing you for the miracle. Trust the architect's meticulous schedule. You will receive the beautiful things you ask for at the time that is just right. Therefore, I instruct you now in the transformative practice of worship during the delay. When you feel the weight of impatience pressing you down, shift your entire focus from the problem that looms large to my infinite person, who is eternally sufficient. Worship is your spiritual counterattack against the spirit of discouragement. When you lift your hands and your voice in praise, even when the manifestation is unseen, you are demonstrating a profound faith that silences the enemy and releases the flow of my presence. Your praise is the sound of your victory before the battle is even finished. Make worship your absolute priority in this waiting room. I affirm that the process itself is a critical part of the spiritual cure, intentionally developing endurance, patience, and character within your soul. This waiting period is refining you, like gold purified by fire, making you a vessel worthy to receive and manage the abundance I am preparing to pour out. You are being equipped with the wisdom and humility needed to handle the vast blessings that are on their way to you. You will not be overwhelmed by your prosperity because you learn to rely on me, the giver, not the gift. Let the refining fire complete its magnificent work. Do not let the spirit of confusion cloud your mind. My Holy Spirit is there to boost your morale and give you confidence. I declare the absolute promise that those who wait upon me shall renew their strength. They shall not be defeated or overwhelmed. Your spiritual energy will be replenished. Your physical body will be invigorated, and your emotional fortitude will be restored. You will rise like an eagle, soaring above the very circumstances that tried to chain you to the ground. Lift your eyes now, my child, and see the spiritual strength I am depositing in your soul in this precise moment of waiting. Know that your perseverance will be rewarded, and your dreams will become a reality. Remain steadfast in faith, and the final manifestation will be glorious and absolute. My cherished child, I want you to open your eyes to the undeniable reality of spiritual warfare. The unseen but constant attacks of the adversary who seeks to derail your destiny, inject doubt into your heart, and steal the cure I have already given you. He is relentless, prowling like a fierce lion, seeking an opening, a moment of weakness to bring you down. He uses lies, threats, criticism, and the negativity of others as his weapons. Stop minimizing the threat. Acknowledge the battle, but never, ever fear the enemy's power. I present the cure as the absolute, impenetrable armor of God, deliberately equipping you for this daily spiritual battle. This armor is not a suggestion. It is a divine necessity that you must put on every morning. The belt of truth anchors you against lies. The breastplate of righteousness guards your heart from condemnation. The gospel of peace gives you firm footing. The shield of faith extinguishes every single fiery arrow the enemy shoots at you, and the helmet of salvation protects your mind from despair. Clothe yourself in this divine defense now, and stand firm in your victory. I describe my name, the name of Jesus, as your ultimate fortress and defense against all forms of evil. At the sound of my Son's name, every single force of darkness must absolutely, instantly submit and retreat. When fear attacks, speak that name. When temptation comes, command it to flee in that name. My name is your unbreachable refuge, your constant source of peace, and the undeniable declaration of your authority over the enemy. Make my name the first, automatic response to every spiritual attack. I instruct you now on the vital skill of wielding the sword of the Spirit, which is my living word, to instantly counter all lies, criticism, and threats that seek to sabotage your healing. Your sword is not your opinion, your argument, or your emotion. It is the eternal, authoritative truth of my scripture. When the enemy whispers a lie, you must respond with a verse that declares the opposite truth. This is how you defeat the foe, not with your strength, but with my invincible word. Keep my word sharp and ready in your heart and in your mouth. I affirm this irrefutable, eternal promise. No weapon formed against my child shall ever, under any circumstances, ultimately prosper. This is my absolute covenant with you. Though weapons may be formed, though critics may rise, diseases may attack, and financial storms may rage, their ultimate purpose to defeat and destroy you will absolutely fail. You are my protected, cherished treasure. You are eternally secure, and the enemy's maximum power is a profound, absolute zero against the minimum power of my grace. Walk in the profound, unwavering confidence of this declaration. My call is for you to stand absolutely firm in the victory already secured by my Son. Your battle is not to gain the victory, but to stand in the victory that has already been won on the cross. This means maintaining your position of faith, refusing to retreat, and rejecting any word or circumstance that contradicts the healing and freedom I have given you. Stand firm, resist the devil, and he must absolutely flee from you. Your life will be a glorious, powerful, and visible testament to the strength and might of my divine protection. Go now, my warrior, and let the enemy see my shield surrounding you. My beloved child, I see the raw, gnawing fear and the relentless anxiety surrounding financial and physical provision. You worry about the bills, the stability of your job, the future of your family, and the constant feeling that there is simply not enough. That spirit of lack is a lie, a demonic assault designed to distract you from my abundance and force you to trust in fragile, temporary human resources. You must stop bowing to the idol of scarcity. I remind you of my eternal, foundational name. I am Jehovah Jireh, your absolute, unfailing provider. I know what you need before you even whisper the request, and my resources are infinite, boundless, and completely independent of the world's fluctuating economy. I am the God who fed the masses with mere crumbs and supplied the widow's endless oil. I call you to move beyond simply seeing me as a helper and to recognize me as your divine, sovereign source. Entrust your entire financial future to my capable hands. I offer the cure for lack as the divine principle of generosity and wise stewardship. When you operate from a posture of giving, trusting that your sowing will bring an inevitable, supernatural harvest, you break the chains of greed and scarcity. You cannot outgive me, your Almighty God. Give with a cheerful, open heart, and I will ensure that your own cup runs over and your needs are met perfectly. Practice radical generosity now and experience the miracle of my supply. I instruct you now on the spiritual law of sowing and reaping, a law as sure as gravity in all aspects of your life. When you sow seeds of faith, you will reap a harvest of miracles. When you sow seeds of generosity, you will reap a harvest of provision. When you sow diligently in your work and in your spirit, you will gather a reward that is abundant and certain. Stop worrying about the size of the harvest and focus only on the diligence of your sowing. I affirm my irrefutable promise to supply all of your needs, not according to your limited checking account, but according to my limitless, inexhaustible riches in glory. I will ensure your table is full, your home is secure, and your family is provided for. Your part is trust, my part is provision. Rest in this divine guarantee, and let my peace silence the voice of financial fear. Finally, I call you to choose faith over sight, trusting my guaranteed abundance over limited, visible earthly resources. The world sees impossibility. You must see my boundless capacity. Walk with the profound confidence that your entire existence is under the absolute control of the most generous, capable, and loving provider in the universe. Focus your vision on my promise, and let my abundance become your absolute reality. My beloved child, I see the confusion of self-worth that troubles your spirit, the constant search for validation, the debilitating fear of failure, and the fruitless quest for purpose outside of my perfect will. You try to define yourself by your accomplishments, your titles, or the approval of others, and this pursuit leaves you perpetually empty, weary, and lost. Stop measuring your worth by the world's fickle scale. I declare your immutable, unchangeable worth as my beloved, precious creation, bought and eternally secured at the highest conceivable price, the life of my Son. Your value is not negotiable, it is fixed by my love. You are not what you do, you are who I say you are. Accept this absolute declaration of your worth, and let it dismantle every lie of inadequacy you have ever believed. You are a masterpiece, and your beauty is found in my image, not in human perfection. I present the core of the cure as your divine adoption, making you a permanent, eternal heir in my royal family. You are not a temporary guest or a forgotten servant. You are a son, a daughter, fully accepted, fiercely loved, and eternally secure. This adoption gives you an unshakable identity that no circumstance can challenge, no human rejection can alter, and no failure can revoke. Walk in the profound confidence of your divine, eternal lineage. I instruct you to engage in the radical, necessary act of rejecting every worldly label and accepting only the glorious identity I have bestowed upon you. Stop letting fear call you failure. Stop letting shame call you unworthy. I call you chosen, redeemed, holy, and beloved. Tear off the filthy, old garments of worldly definition and put on the royal robes of your heavenly identity. I affirm the existence of unique giftings and a specific, irrevocable calling placed upon your life from the absolute moment of your creation. You are here for a reason, a magnificent, unique purpose that only you can fulfill. Stop comparing your journey to anyone else's. Your path is custom designed, and your gifts are perfect for the destiny I have set before you. Discover your gifts, use them with courage, and walk confidently in your purpose. I promise you that true, lasting fulfillment, the joy and peace you crave, is found only in the absolute center of my perfect will. When you surrender your limited plan and embrace my infinite, loving blueprint, your spirit finds rest, and your life finds meaning that transcends earthly understanding. Seek my kingdom first, and watch your life be infused with eternal purpose and joy. My beloved child, I see the profound pain you carry from conflict, estrangement, and the shattering of relational ties. The deepest hurts often come from those closest to you, leaving your heart fragmented and your spirit weary. The pain is real, but I am the God who specializes in the impossible, including the mending of what seems permanently broken. Surrender the bitterness of betrayal to me now. I declare myself as the ultimate reconciler, the one who mended the ultimate divide between God and man through my Son. If I can reconcile humanity to my holiness, I can absolutely mend the brokenness in your earthly relationships. This is my very nature, to bring together what has been torn apart. Rest in this divine truth, for I am actively working to mend your broken ties, both seen and unseen. I offer the cure for relational brokenness as the supernatural ability to walk in my love and profound humility toward others. Humility allows you to see the wound, not just the action, of the one who hurt you. Love is the spiritual solvent that dissolves the acid of resentment. When you walk in my love, you approach conflict not for victory, but for reconciliation, reflecting the truth of my character in every difficult conversation. Ask me now for this supernatural grace to love the unlovable. I instruct you on the radical, difficult, but essential act of initiating peace, even when the fault does not lie with you. Your decision to pursue peace, even when it is difficult, is the highest reflection of my character in your life and the boldest witness to the cure at work in your soul. Be the first to extend the olive branch, not out of weakness, but out of the profound strength of my spirit. I affirm that my love poured into your heart can overcome any relational barrier. No conflict is too deep, no estrangement is too long, for my spirit to penetrate and soften hearts. Trust in the quiet, profound power of my love to heal the wounds you cannot see. Your perseverance in love will be your most powerful testimony. My call is for you to pray relentlessly for restoration and to deliberately become a vessel of my peace in your home and within your family. Your gentle words, your patience, and your refusal to engage in conflict are the instruments of my healing. Walk in peace, speak peace, and watch my spirit bring miraculous harmony to your broken relationships. Your home will be illuminated with my light, becoming a refuge for those in need of my love. Rest for a moment, my child. You have walked through the fire of fear and claimed the promise of relational restoration. The victory over the fear of death, anxiety, and conflict is in your hands. But I command you, do not abandon your post when the final keys to living this abundant life remain. Every word is precious. Every remaining promise is sealed for your protection and prosperity. Your surrender to interruption would grieve my purpose for your future. Do not falter now. I stand ready to crown your perseverance. Listen close, my heir, for the final benediction of your wholeness is at hand. You have just witnessed my ultimate power to reconcile and mend what is shattered, my beloved. This profound, life-giving cure is not meant to be contained. but to flood the desolate places of the world where broken hearts cry out in silence. Your support for this sacred mission is the very river I use to carry my message of healing to those who have lost all hope. This is your personal invitation. Come now, and be a conduit of my restorative grace. I declare over you, I will increase the fruits of your righteousness and empower you to assist those in need. Let the fire of my purpose consume any hesitation. Do not withhold the oil for this lamp. Choose a super thanks, membership, or donate through the link now and activate my promise of multiplication. My precious child, I know the profound fear that occasionally grips your heart, the silent anxiety surrounding the finality and immense mystery that surrounds the end of earthly life. You look at your frailty, the inevitable decay of the body, and the darkness of the grave, and you feel a profound, cold terror. This fear is the final, greatest weapon the adversary attempts to use against you, seeking to steal your present joy by paralyzing you with a dread of the future. You must stop letting the shadow of the grave darken the light of your present life. I forbid this fear to consume you any longer, for I have dealt the decisive blow against it. I declare the ultimate, unchangeable truth. My Son has utterly conquered death, stripping it of its power, its sting, and its final victory. He holds the absolute, eternal keys to Hades and death, the keys that unlock every prison and open the door to eternal life. Because he lives, you shall absolutely live also. Your faith in him is the unbreakable link to my resurrection power. Do not look to the grave with terror. Look to the empty tomb with unshakable, overwhelming joy. Focus your eyes on the risen Christ, and let that image demolish your fear of the unknown. Death is not your end. It is your glorious, triumphant doorway. I present the core of the cure for this ultimate fear as the unshakable, living hope of resurrection and eternal, unceasing life in my radiant presence. This is the greatest promise I can ever give you, a guarantee that when your earthly tent is folded up, you will instantly, joyously awaken in my eternal home. This hope is your spiritual anchor in the fiercest storm of uncertainty. You are not waiting for a mere possibility. You are waiting for a certainty that has been sealed by the blood of my Son. Cling to this hope, my heir, for it is your guaranteed future. I instruct you now to live your life in the absolute, brilliant light of eternity, not the fleeting, terrifying shadow of the grave. The decisions you make, the love you give, the forgiveness you extend, all of it should be viewed through the lens of eternity, where your true, eternal treasure resides. Stop sacrificing your eternal reward for the temporary, shallow comforts of this world. When you live with an eternal perspective, the problems of this life, the money worries, the job pressures, the criticism of others, shrink to their proper, insignificant size. Live boldly, my child, as an eternal being on a temporary mission. I affirm the beautiful, comforting truth. To be absent from your weary earthly body is to be instantly, gloriously present with me. This is not a transition into darkness. It is a transportation into absolute, perfect light. There will be no more sorrow, no more pain, no more fear, only unceasing, perfect joy in my embrace. This reunion is the ultimate consummation of the cure I have sent you. Let this magnificent anticipation replace every single worry about your mortality. Your destiny is not decay. It is divine, eternal glory. Finally, I promise you that this cure removes all terror from your soul, replacing it with an irresistible, joyous anticipation of the ultimate homecoming. You will realize that the fear of death was merely a final, defeated lie. Stand firm in this confidence. When the time comes, you will cross that threshold not with dread, but with unshakable, absolute triumph. Walk now with the boundless courage of the redeemed, knowing that your victory over death is secured by my unchangeable promise. My beloved child, you must understand a critical truth about the heavenly cure. It is not a one-time, past event, but a daily, present process of refinement and renewal. Just as your physical body requires continuous nourishment, your spirit requires continuous, deliberate engagement with my life source. You cannot live on yesterday's meal or last week's worship. You must draw the cure fresh every 24 hours. Stop treating this profound, eternal process as a historical memory. I describe the necessity of daily, humble repentance, the continuous, deliberate act of turning back to my way, aligning your thought life and your actions with my perfect will. This daily turning is not a punishment. It is a vital, non-negotiable spiritual adjustment, a course correction that keeps you perfectly aligned with the flow of my grace. When you stumble, do not wallow in guilt. Simply acknowledge your misstep, embrace my immediate, boundless forgiveness, and turn back to me. Practice this humility daily, and maintain your freedom from condemnation. I instruct you on the necessary discipline of studying my word, engaging in dedicated prayer, and finding quiet, dedicated moments of reflection. These are the three vital pillars of your daily administration of the cure. Use my word as your spiritual mirror, your prayer as your breath, and your reflection as your personal time of counsel with the Holy Spirit. Do not let the chaos of the world crowd out these sacred, essential moments of connection. The time you invest in me will yield immediate, profound peace and clarity. I affirm the essential, active role of the Holy Spirit in making the cure effective moment by moment, throughout your entire day. He is the internal mechanism that applies my truth to your circumstances, giving you the wisdom to choose rightly, the strength to resist temptation, and the peace to overcome anxiety. Yield to his gentle, powerful guidance in every decision, great or small. He is your personal counselor, ready to guide you in all truth and supply you with the courage you need. My call is for you to engage in the total, radical submission of all your plans and all your day's actions to my absolute authority. Before you step out the door, before you engage in a difficult conversation, before you make a decision, pause and ask me, is this my Father's will? This daily submission is the ultimate act of trust, releasing the pressure of perfection from your shoulders and placing the responsibility for outcomes entirely on my shoulders. Surrender your to-do list now and watch me work. Finally, I promise you a consistent, unerring, guiding presence throughout every 24-hour cycle. You are never alone. You are never forgotten. I am working through your workday, speaking through your quiet moments, and guarding your sleep. Walk in the profound confidence of my constant companionship. This cure is an eternal reality, and my commitment to your wholeness is perpetual. Live each day, my child, as an absolute masterpiece in progress. My beloved child, having received this comprehensive, absolute cure for your spirit, soul, and body, I now challenge you to allow that profound internal healing to become powerfully visible in your external actions. You are no longer meant to walk in the shadows of despair. You are called to be a brilliant, irresistible beacon of my love and power in the world. Stop hiding the light that I have placed within you. Let the evidence of your transformation be undeniable. I describe the cured life as one unequivocally marked by joy, a profound, resilient joy that endures powerfully despite external, chaotic circumstances. This joy is not dependent on perfect health, full finances, or ideal relationships. It flows directly from the unshakable certainty of your reconciliation with me and your eternal destiny. It is a spiritual defiance against the sorrow the world tries to impose upon you. Wear this joy as your most powerful garment, for it is your strength. I instruct you now to use your restored health, your spiritual freedom, and your renewed purpose to absolutely glorify my name. Your second chance, your healing, your deliverance, all of it is meant to draw others to the source of that cure. Let your actions, your kindness, your unwavering integrity, and your willingness to forgive become a living sermon for the world to witness. Make your healed life a continuous, loud offering of gratitude to me. I affirm that the ultimate, magnificent purpose of the cure is to make you a powerful, undeniable witness to my reality and my profound love. Your story of brokenness transformed into beauty is the single most effective tool I have to reach others who are currently lost, hurting, and bound. Your vulnerability, now covered by my strength, will become their hope. Embrace your testimony, my child, for it is a treasure of incalculable worth. My call is for you to step into a radical life of service and absolute selflessness, deliberately mirroring the compassion and sacrifice of my Son. Stop pursuing fleeting comfort, pursue enduring purpose. Use your gifts, your talents, and your resources not for your own comfort, but to uplift the downtrodden, encourage the faint-hearted, and bring light to the darkest places. Focus your energy on serving others, and your own deepest needs will be miraculously met. I promise you that your healed life will become an undeniable beacon of hope to the world, a powerful, visible proof that I am real. My promises are true, and my cure is absolute. You will inspire thousands simply by walking in the freedom and joy I have given you. Walk forward with profound confidence, my beloved, and fulfill the glorious purpose for which you were created. My child, as we draw to the end of this profound conversation, I must reaffirm the irrefutable truth that my love and my supply are absolutely inexhaustible, eternal, and available without measure. My mercy flows like a mighty river that never runs dry, and my grace is deeper than the deepest ocean. Stop measuring my supply by your finite, human needs. I declare that the flow of the cure is not dependent on your finite merit, your actions, or your occasional stumbles, but entirely upon my unwavering, constant, and loving nature. My commitment to you is sealed by my blood, not by your behavior. Rest in the profound certainty of my unchanging love. You are perfectly accepted, fully cherished, and eternally secured, not because of what you do, but because of who I am. I present the cure as a continuous, eternal wellspring, a perpetual, living fountain that will never run dry and will never lose its immense potency. This living water is my Holy Spirit, eternally flowing within you, ready to purify, replenish, and empower you. You never have to fear lack or depletion again. I instruct you now to draw from this living water immediately whenever a new need arises, whenever a doubt whispers, or whenever a moment of weakness occurs. Do not wait, do not delay. The supply is instant, infinite, and accessible through the simple act of faith and a whispered prayer. Make the drawing of this water a continuous, effortless rhythm of your soul. I affirm that I am constantly, deliberately working to perfect and complete the magnificent work I began in you the moment you first believe. Your journey toward wholeness is under the absolute, eternal management of the divine architect, who never leaves a project unfinished. Trust the master builder to complete his masterpiece. I promise you a deepening, profound understanding of the cure's richness throughout every moment of your earthly pilgrimage. You will never stop discovering the depth of my love, the height of my power, and the width of my mercy. Embrace the journey of discovery, my child, for the best is always yet to come. My beloved child, pause now. Breathe in my presence. I recap this central truth, a perfect, absolute cure for all dimensions of yourself, spirit, soul, and body, has been sent from my throne, embodied fully in my Son, Jesus Christ. I declare you fully, eternally covered by the blood of the Lamb, whole, sanctified, and absolutely free from the chains of the past. I command you to rise up now, my champion, and walk in the new authority and the profound freedom I have given you. I affirm my eternal commitment and my unbreakable covenant with you, my unique, cherished child. I will never leave you, never forsake you, and I will be with you always, even to the absolute end of the age. I speak this final, powerful prayer of blessing, healing, and peace over your life. May my peace, which surpasses all earthly understanding, guard your heart and your mind. May my grace provide you with boundless strength, and may my love be your constant, unshakable guide. Go now, my child. The cure is yours. The unity o free. Halt my air. You have received the fullness of the cure, the absolute certainty of your eternal destiny, and the final benediction of peace. But know this, every soul who hears my voice here is starving for this manna, this truth. Your act of giving is the spark that ignites the fire of faith in another desperate heart. This is your prophetic moment to secure your harvest in the eternal realm. I am your Jehovah Jireh, and I command you to sow into the soil of my word. I will break the chains of debt, grant employment, and create opportunities in return for your obedience. Refuse the spirit of scarcity. Let your faith be visible now through your generosity. Go to the link and give, my faithful steward, and experience the glorious fullness of my divine provision. My child, this conversation is not meant to end with a silence. It is meant to ignite a flame of absolute, undeniable certainty in your soul. Therefore, I issue you this final, divine directive. Do not let my cure remain a mere whisper in your ear. I command you to engage in a profound, public act of faith, breaking the chains of silence that have bound your testimony. Go now, step into the light, and declare your breakthrough. I want you to comment right here, right now, and proclaim this irreversible truth over your life. The cure has been sent. I'm healed, I'm whole, I'm free. Let the enemy hear your confident declaration and watch as your victory instantly manifests. For this word, once spoken in faith, will absolutely return to me fulfilled.